Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto trains with weights. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. The hospital 1 week later. Ow, it still hurts, Naruto said walking around. Apparently his bones weren't completely fixed up yet but he was able to move around. His bones should be back to normal in a couple of days. Naruto regained consciousness about the second day he was in the hospital and instantly wanted out. He couldn't take it, he hated hospitals. There was nothing he could do, of course. Every bone in his legs were broken in 5 different places. There was no way he could have moved, so during that time Naruto practiced with his guitar and learning from his books, which he was relieved had survived his awful ordeal. Naruto was getting better fast, it seemed to the Sandaime who visited Naruto while he was practicing, that the boy was a guitar if not a music prodigy. Naruto, you are going to be released today, the Sandaime said walking into Naruto's room seeing that the boy was on his feet. Where will I live? Now that the villagers know where I live they will be coming for me every night, Oji-san, Naruto said thinking about the future. Being beaten and learning to avoid attackers had forced Naruto to grow up much faster than anybody that cared for him would have liked. I have an idea but I have to get your approval, the Hokage said looking at the boy's reaction. Whatever you think is best, Oji-san, Naruto said grabbing his guitar and books. Well, okay, but I will tell you just in case you can think of something better. The Hokage was startled at the amount of trust he had in him. It was rather heartbreaking. I have talked it over with my Anbu and they have agreed to what I am about to say, and before I say it, I want to tell you that you can trust them. They have tried their best to protect you while being restricted by their responsibilities. I would like you to live in Anbu HQ. Why, Oji-san? Naruto asked, a little worried. He seen the Anbu and they seemed so emotionless that it scared him. Well, it is the place that you will be safest for now, at least until you can protect yourself, the Sandaime said. Okay, if that is what you think is best, Oji-san, Naruto said. When do we go? Naruto, I can't go with you right now. I will have one of the Anbu take you, Sarutobi said waving his hand, and Anbu with a tiger mask came out of the shadows. Toru, can I trust Naruto with you? Of course, Hokage-sama, Toru said. Please come with me, Uzumaki-san. Please call me Naruto. Do you mind if we go kind of slow? My muscles are aching, Naruto said. That is fine, Naruto-san. The tiger-masked Anbu, please follow me. Naruto followed the Anbu at Naruto's pace, which was a surprise since Anbu usually try and hide in the dark and move as fast as possible. At least as far as Naruto knew. They were walking a good 20 minutes in almost complete silence, with the occasional question from Toru about Naruto. When they arrived at a nondescript black building. Well, here we are, Toru said looking at what Naruto thought. Naruto's look was impassive, he didn't seem to mind, but he was ecstatic, either probably because of his injuries. You will be staying on the 3rd floor, if you like I can carry you if you don't want to walk anymore, the Anbu asked the 5-year-old boy. Yay! Naruto jumped onto the Anbu's back, who wasn't completely ready for it, so he stumbled to the left before he caught his balance. Well, let's go, hold on tight, Toru said going into the building and up the stairs to the 3rd floor in about 20 seconds, a slow pace for an Anbu. Wow, that was fun, let's do it again, Naruto yelled. Not yet, Naruto, I have to show you where you are going to be staying, Toru said letting Naruto down and taking off his mask. Hey Toru, you have a face under that mask? Naruto asked, and Toru almost fell over. Toru's face was a rather plain man with a helmet with the Konoha leaf on it. Of course we have faces under our masks. Even if we are Anbu we are still people and ninja. You can call me Yamato, Yamato said smiling. Most of us take our masks off when we enter Anbu HQ. Oh cool, Naruto said looking around. It looked like a rather plain apartment complex. I think it would be better if we met the other Anbu on the floor before we went to your room, Yamato said taking Naruto's hand. Okay Yamato-san, Naruto said trusting that this Anbu wouldn't hurt him. There are several community areas on every floor of the Anbu compound. There is the lounge, the bar, the training ground, and the entertainment area. Most of the time people can be found all over the place, Yamato said. I will be showing you to the lounge. Naruto was brought into a room with 4 people in it. Naruto didn't recognize any of them, but he probably knew their Anbu masks better than their face. All of them were in Anbu uniforms, so Naruto could only amuse. Hello everybody. You know what Kakashi-senpai said, Uzumaki Naruto is going to staying on this floor for a while, Yamato said to the crowd of relaxing Anbu. Yes, we know Yamato. A girl with long reddish-brown hair tied into a braid said. She was very pretty with two red marks on her cheek. Yeah, we have all had to watch the kid at least once. Anko, look it up if you don't know, Anko said looking at the brat. Yes, I know Rin-san, Anko-san, Yamato said. Why do you call Kakashi senpai and you don't call me senpai? Rin asked, seeming slightly scorned. Well, Kakashi senpai has been in Anbu longer than any of us, and Rin, you joined at about the same time I did, Yamato said. Then Yamato noticed that it was strangely quiet. Naruto-san, where did you go? Don't worry about him, a black-haired guy on a couch said, his headband tied around his right shoulder. This guy had dark brown eyes, a smile on his face. What do you mean, Kenichi-san? Yamato said. Naruto was getting bored, so Kakashi was going to bring him to the entertainment area, Kenichi said. I kind of want to see what that kid can do with that guitar. He won't be able to do much, Kakashi, and I saw him get it last week, a girl with long black hair and white eyes said. Yeah, I guess Nana-san, Rin said. Well, let's see what they are getting up to then. Everybody in the group agreed and walked to the entertainment area. Everybody knew the way because that was where they hung out if they didn't go to the bar. Hey, what's that? Anko asked as they approached the door. I would say music. I guess Kakashi senpai is showing Naruto a music video, Yamato said. Yamato, stop calling that pervert sem. Pi. Anko, but so was everybody else as they saw and heard what Naruto was doing. Naruto was interrupted by Rin tackling him from behind. Naruto quickly unslung his guitar before he fell flat on his face. Naruto, you don't have to be so sad, Rin said, crying into his back. What are you talking about? Naruto asked, trying to turn around, but Rin's weight against his 5-year-old body's strength. Naruto never had a chance. That song, Rin said, sobbing lightly. Rin, I showed Naruto that music video. He was doing his best to copy its guitar part as much as he could. A silver-haired man wearing a mask and his forehead protector covering his left eye. Oh, Rin said, getting off Naruto before she crushed him. Geez, Rin, I didn't know you like little boys. Anko was making fun of Rin, who was now blushing very hard. Yamato and Kenichi were talking to the side. You think he is a music prodigy? Yamato asked. Well, he copied a song almost perfectly and good enough for us to mistake it as a music video, so I would say yes, Kenichi said. He probably is better with that guitar than most who aren't professional, and he has only had that thing for a week. What should we do? Yamato asked. Nothing, that kind of genius can't be guided, and if it is, it will be stunted. Just let it take its course, Kenichi said. Well, we should at least get him a more appropriate guitar. That one isn't meant for that kind of music, is it? Yamato asked. No, it isn't, I agree, Kenichi said. Well, Naruto-san, let's show you to your room, Yamato said loudly. Anbu training ground. 1 year after Naruto started living with Anbu. Naruto, you have to work on your chakra control, Kakashi said, looking at Naruto attempting a Bunshin no Jutsu, clone jutsu. Kakashi ni-san, I have been doing this for a week now. I just can't get my chakra that small, Naruto said, complaining that he was trying to finish this jutsu until he dropped every day. Not that Kakashi saw how hard Naruto worked because he was going on missions for the Hokage. We have to see Nana-san before we can know how much chakra you are putting into it, Kakashi said as Nana walked into the training ground. Well, speak of the devil, Nana-san. Could you see why Naruto can't seem to get Bunshin no Jutsu down? Kakashi asked. He managed Kawarimi a couple of times and Henge at least once properly, but his Bunshin is just not working. Sure, Kakashi. Byakugan, Nana said as the veins around her eyes bulged and she focused on Naruto. Please try Bunshin again, Naruto-kun. Hi, Nana-ne-chan. Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, his hands in the right seal. Nana blinked down hard as she could, as if she was blinded by the sun. Ow, Naruto-kun. Why are you putting so much chakra into it? You don't need that much, Nana said, relaxing her eyes. But that is the minimum amount of chakra that I can use, Naruto complained. That can't be, Naruto-kun, that is so much, Nana said again. Nana-san, there is no way Naruto is using that much chakra, Kakashi said, skeptical of how Nana was wince. Well, why don't you check with your dojutsu, Nana said, crossing her arms. Fine, Naruto, if you could do Bunshin one more time, Kakashi said, lifting his headband revealing his Sharingan eye. Okay, Kakashi ni-san, Naruto said, holding his hand seal up again. Bunshin no Jutsu. Kakashi immediately combed his eye again with his forehead protector. Kakashi looked at the one measly dead-looking clone. Naruto, you are using so much chakra. Are you sure that is the least amount that you can? Yes, Kakashi Ni-san, I told you, Naruto said, looking very winded. Kakashi Ni-san, can I get a break? We have been doing this for 2 hours. Yeah, fine Naruto, you can get a snack and do whatever you want for an hour. Kakashi said, but then Guy is going to come here for your taijutsu lesson. Okay Kakashi Ni-san, Naruto said, running to his room. Kakashi smiled under his mask. He really sees us as family, Nana said, smiling lightly, a very strange amount of emotion for a Hyuga. Yeah, it is kind of nice. Kakashi said, looking at his little brother. How long have we been teaching him how to be a ninja now? Nana asked Kakashi. About 6 months now, Kakashi said, looking at Nana. Wow, that fast, Nana said, looking at Kakashi. Yo, where is the brat? I have to train him while I have time. Anko ran from the bar. Anko, what is the rush? You can wait until Guy finishes with his lesson. Kakashi said, looking at Anko. Well, I had to rush out before I could finish his lesson last time. Anko said. You mean I stepped in before you killed Naruto from blood loss? Rin said, appearing next to Kakashi. Rin, you said you wouldn't step in unless Naruto was in real trouble. Anko said, pouting. Flashback 6 months. Hi guys, I am glad you guys came. Kakashi said. In the lounge around 9 o'clock, Naruto was fast asleep. Well, we didn't have much choice, did we? Anko said. It was an order from the all-powerful Anbu captain. Well yeah, Kakashi said, looking at his fellow Anbu. I was think that we should train Naruto to be a proper ninja. What do you mean Naru-kun is only 5? Rin said, concern in her voice. Over the past 6 months, Rin had stepped up to be Naruto's mother figure, even if Naruto saw her as a sister. Well, we can't protect him forever, he has to know how to defend himself. Kakashi said. We already took the first step in getting him proper ninja clothing, not just street cloths, so why don't we start training him? What about his childhood? We can't force him to leave that behind, Rin said, truly worried about the boy's mental state. I never said that we would force him to grow up, we would just teach him how to be a ninja, not the mentality of it, just chakra control and taijutsu, maybe ninjutsu or genjutsu when he is ready. Kakashi offered. I will teach him genjutsu. Kenichi spoke up for the first time during the meeting. Kenichi-san, Rin said, looking scorned. I can teach him some rudimentary kenjutsu. He will have to develop a style of his own though, Anko chimed. Anko, Rin said, looking truly annoyed. I can help him with chakra control, Nana said, looking at Kakashi. Nana, I will take ninjutsu, Kakashi said. Everybody nodded as this was the logical choice since Kakashi copied over 1,000 jutsu. Kakashi, Rin said. Rin, calm down, we aren't going to force him out of his childhood, Yamato said, looking at Rin. I can't really teach him anything that you guys aren't going to cover more thoroughly, so I will just hang out with him so he can relax and occasionally help out if I can. Rin, it would be great if you could teach him some medical ninjutsu, Kakashi said, but it is completely up to you. I can't believe all of you, he is still a boy, he should be having fun, knowing what it is like to have friends. Rin said. But Rin, we are the closest thing Naruto has to friends, Kenichi said, looking at the irate mother figure. We can play with him when he wants to, but if we teach him we will be able to teach him much more, especially if he becomes an Anbu and we can go on missions with him. No, that is absolutely unacceptable, he is too young to even be thinking about stuff like that, Rin yelled. Rin, I hate to say this, but we don't all have to agree on this. We are just trying to think what is best for Naruto because we won't always be here to protect him. You know what it was like before we convinced that Hokage to let him stay here, Kakashi tried reason. And think if Naruto learns medical he will be able to take care of himself and feel less pain than if we just let him be. End flashback. It did take a lot of convincing, but they did finally get Rin to agree with the stipulation that she could pull Naruto out of anything that she thought was too dangerous. How did you get Guy to teach him taijutsu again? Kenichi asked, looking at Kakashi, who was now grinning at the question. Flashback 2 months ago. Oh my eternal rival, I challenge you. Kakashi, what is this little well of youthfulness doing, and what are you making him do? Guy said as he exploded into the Anbu training area. Naruto was doing 10 laps around the room as a cool down to some physical exercise. Kakashi was sorely tempted to pretend to ignore Guy, but Kakashi was thinking about a way to help Naruto. I am training him, Guy, so are several other Anbu, Kakashi said, watching Naruto's progress, which was surprisingly fast for a almost 6-year-old. So I don't have enough time now to accept any of your challenges right now. Well, actually, what would you say if I challenged you to something? I would love it, my eternal rival. I see that your youthfulness is finally showing through your hip cool exterior, Guy yelled in his good guy pose. What, sorry, did you say something? Kakashi couldn't that one pass by without his hip attitude. Well, how about a challenge? We are having a hard time teaching Naruto taijutsu since most of the Anbu here are specialized by a bloodline or focus on other areas. Yes, I see your problem, so you want me, a taijutsu master, to teach young Naruto? Guy said, looking serious for a second. Yes, how about a challenge? I teach Naruto ninjutsu, you teach Naruto taijutsu, as long as he is staying at Anbu HQ, and whichever one Naruto is better at by that time, wins the challenge. Kakashi offered sending Naruto out to find Kenichi because it was his day to teach Naruto. Well, that isn't fair. I don't live at Anbu HQ, so you will have the advantage of teaching him more often, Guy said. No, I don't. The other Anbu won't let me take Naruto for any longer than 6 hours a week, so you will have 6 hours a week too, Kakashi said. Yes, Guy was interrupted by Kakashi again. But one more thing, you are not to force Naruto into that green bodysuit that you love so much, Kakashi said. If you don't agree to that, I will not accept challenges from you ever again. Fine, Kakashi, but until this challenge is over I will not be challenging you. I will focus on training Naruto. Yes, Kakashi said in his head, mentally cheering for no more competition with Guy as long as Naruto was in Anbu HQ. End flashback. I am starting to think that Naruto won't get the basic Bunshin down, if that is really the least amount of chakra he can use. Kakashi said. Yeah, he was using such a ridiculous amount of chakra, especially since that was the least amount that he could do. Nana said, so you are planning to teach him a different type of Bunshin, which one? I don't really know, probably Kage Bunshin. Kakashi said. Absolutely not, Rin said, looking at her teammate, now Anbu captain. That is a B-rank kinjutsu. It is too dangerous for Naruto to do. Well, yeah, it is, but I was just going to see how Naruto takes it. I am going to tell him that if he is in combat that he shouldn't use that jutsu anyway. It is just for spy missions and maybe training, depending on how well that takes the memory absorption part of Kage Bunshin. Have you guys noticed how quiet it has been lately? Kenichi asked everybody because they weren't used to the base without music or training going on. What has Naruto been doing in his free time anyway? I haven't heard any music for about a week now, and that is unusual for Naruto. Anko said. Oh yeah, I gave Naruto a book on how to make a guitar earlier. He is probably reading that, Rin said, looking at her Anbu friends. Now that makes sense. Naruto asked me for a 4x4 block of wood, Yamato said. Yeah, and he asked me if I could get him some replacement guitar strings, Nana said. Spare parts for his guitar, Kenichi said. Not to bug him for a week, Anko said, looking a little disappointed. Well, that doesn't make any sense. What Naruto asked of me, Kakashi said, scratching the back of his head. What did he ask you? Rin asked. He asked me for a book on elemental seals, Kakashi said. Did you give it to him, senpai? Yamato asked. Well, yeah, I thought he was just curious because I taught him how to make storage seals so he could carry his guitar more easily. Kakashi said. Hi everybody, I just finished my guitar, Naruto said, running to see everybody looking at him. You managed to make a guitar? Kenichi asked. Yeah, do you want to see it? Naruto asked excitedly. I'm sure, Naru-kun, Rin said with her happy nickname for Naruto. Okay. Naruto took out a scroll and touched a seal on it. What came out of it was a rock guitar with flame decal on it. Wow, that looks really good, everybody said at the same time to encourage him, even though they didn't know how well it would play. Yeah, and it sounds great, Naruto said, smiling at all of his friends. Naruto, I have to ask, why did you ask Kakashi to get you a book on elemental seals? Rin asked, confused. Oh, that. Well, if everybody moves out of the way, and get a fire extinguisher or a sweetened jutsu ready, I will show you. Naruto said, smiling. Why do you need that? Kakashi asked, but still making sure Yamato was ready just in case something bad happened. Well, I haven't actually tested this out yet. I wanted some supervision just in case I messed up. Naruto said, smiling. Naruto, what are you doing? Rin yelled. I put a fire seal on this guitar so that if everything went right, fire should come out of the tip when I play, and depending on how intense the song I play it should increase or decrease with the amount of flame, The flame should also depend on the amount of chakra I put into it. Naruto explained. You should have Kakashi look at the seal before you start, Kenichi said, impressed that Naruto found out a way to make music into a weapon other than just genjutsu. Kenichi has been teaching Naruto how to make genjutsu with music since Naruto had such a talent for music. Okay, Kakashi ni-san. The seal is on the neck of the guitar, Naruto said, handing the guitar to Kakashi, who looked at the seal closely. Kakashi's examination took a good 10 minutes. Well, I am not a seal master, but it looks sound, Kakashi said. Yamato, be prepared just in case. Hi, Kakashi-senpai, Yamato said, preparing to go into hand seals for a mid-water jutsu. Naruto, let us get out of the way, Nana said as everybody got out of the way. Okay, Naruto, go ahead, Kenichi said, watching as Yamato was the only one that didn't go to hide in case he had to stop a blaze. Ninpo, ninja art, Ballad of the Blaze. Naruto focused chakra into the seal as he started playing a rather intense guitar solo. What came out of Naruto's guitar surprised everybody. Fireballs the size of Naruto's body were being emitted from the flying in patterns that nobody could keep up with, but they were all going in the direction Naruto pointed his guitar, and collided with each other about 20 feet away. Naruto, stop, Yamato ordered, doing a Suiden jutsu to end the flames that Naruto had sent. Naruto heard and stopped channeling chakra into the seal, and he put the guitar down. That was impressive, Kaden Judas, Kakashi said, getting moving from his position to Naruto's side. You use the melody to punch out the rhythm, the intensity to determine the number, and your chakra to determine the distance and size. You really should have told everybody what you were doing before you made the guitar though, Rin said, already hugging Naruto. Rin-ne-chan, I wanted it to be a surprise, Naruto said, smiling. I have a question though. Yamato went to Naruto as Kenichi and Nana made it to the boy. The amount of wood that I gave you is easily enough to make 2 guitars. What did you do with the extra wood? Oh, I am not done. I was planning to make another guitar later, but I want some time to play some music before I even plan on starting another project like this one, Naruto said, smiling, leaving all the Anbu to their thoughts. 4 hours later. Yes, Naruto, my youthful student. You have made much progress with the Iron Fist Taijutsu style, Guy yelled as Naruto blocked several kicks and sent a couple of punches at Guy. Your youthfulness is very refreshing, but I think it is time for you to take a break, Guy said. I have got to see the Hokage about a mission, so I will not see you for a couple of days up to a week. But Guy-sensei, I still need to practice, Naruto said. Well, nobody said you can't practice alone, my youthful pupil, Guy said, looking at Naruto. Hi, Guy-sensei, I promise to practice the Iron Fist style as much as I am allowed, Naruto said. And if you can't, my youthful pupil, I will climb the Hokage tower without my hands or chakra, Guy said, leaving the training area. Naru-kun, it is time for lunch, Rin said to Naruto. Hi, Rin-ne-chan, Naruto said, running to Rin. Rin was astonished at Naruto's sheer amount of energy. It was like he was a living lightning bolt. Rin had been tempted to teach Naruto healing ninjutsu, but was right now limiting it to human anatomy. Naruto didn't have the control it took for healing ninjutsu. After lunch, Kakashi is going to keep working with you on Bunshin no Jutsu, Rin said, watching Naruto eat his lunch with all the gusto of a starving Akamichi. Okay, Naruto said through a bowl of rice. Don't talk while you eat, Rin snapped, hitting Naruto over the head with a newspaper. Sorry, Rin-ne-chan, Naruto said as he finished and went back to his training ground. Naruto was expecting Kakashi to be at least 1 hour late, so Naruto had some time before he actually had to start training. Naruto took out his scroll with his guitars in them and unsealed his first guitar. Naruto was interrupted by clapping that he wasn't expecting. Naruto looked around to see Kakashi, Yamato, and Kenichi. You are going to be quite the romantic when you grow older, Naruto, Kenichi said, looking at his little friend. Kakashi ni-san, you want me to continue with Bunshin, don't you? Naruto asked, a little dejected that he was having so much trouble with this one jutsu. Well, yes and no, Yamato said. We are going to teach you a Bunshin technique, but not the regular Bunshin. What? Why, if I can't get the normal Bunshin down, what makes you think that I can get a different Bunshin down? Naruto asked. Well, the normal Bunshin takes less chakra, but you are having trouble limiting your chakra to make the Bunshin. So maybe if you had a higher powered technique it would work better, Kenichi said. Kakashi, if you would. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Kakashi said, making a single clone of himself. How is that different from the regular Bunshin? Naruto asked, seeing no physical difference between that and normal Bunshin. Kage Bunshin makes solid clones. Unlike the normal Bunshin, which is just an illusion, it has other impressive attributes to it, but we will tell you when you can do the technique properly. Yamato said. 2 hours of practicing. Kakashi ni-san, Yamato-san, Kenichi-san, Naruto yelled enthusiastically. What is it, Naruto? Kenichi asked, a music magazine in his hand. I finished the technique, Naruto said, smiling happily. That is impossible, Naruto. That is a Chunin level technique. You would need at least a week to finish it, Kenichi said, looking at the excited Naruto. But I did. I will show you. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto yelled. An enormous amount of smoke cleared the area and a full 5 Kage Bunshin were standing in front of Kenichi. That is amazing. Send one of them to get Kakashi, and have the other go to Nana for a chakra control exercise. Then have the clone going to Nana release itself as soon as it gets the exercise, Kenichi ordered. Okay, Kenichi-san, Naruto said as 2 the clones ran out. Why do you want one of the clones to vanish after getting the exercise from Nana-ne-chan? You will find out when it disappears. Kenichi said. Just wait a minute. As Kenichi said this, Naruto's eyes went glazed. So Nana-ne-chan wants me to hold a leaf to my body using chakra. Wait, how do I know that? Naruto asked. When one of your clones disappears, everything that happened to it happens to you, with the exception of any damaging blows, so you can use it to increase your knowledge faster, increase your chakra control, and practice jutsu with it, Kenichi said. Kenichi, we really shouldn't be teaching him about that part of the jutsu, Kakashi said, walking back with one of the clones. Why not? As long as he doesn't make too many and he releases them carefully, it is a great training method. Kenichi said. Yes, but you haven't told Naruto the bad part about the jutsu, Kakashi said. What bad part? Naruto asked. If you don't use the jutsu responsibly, and be careful how many you disperse at once, you will suffer from memory overload. The least that will do to you is that you will be knocked unconscious for an hour or 2 while the information gets stored in your head. The worst thing that can happen is that your mind won't be able to handle it and you will lose your mind. Plus the fact that the clones don't affect your muscles at all, so you have to train extra hard to keep up with what your mind thinks you can do, Kakashi explained. So just be careful, okay, Naruto. I have a feeling that you will have a high resilience to memory overload. Kenichi said, looking in his magazine again. Male music competition, now that is interesting, Kenichi thought, looking at Naruto. Naruto is now 9 years old. Naruto, you didn't have to go that berserk on those Iwanin, Kakashi said, full Enbu attire on, including his dog mask. They were attacking a village for the pleasure of it. That kind of attitude makes me sick. Inu-san, you know that, Naruto said. Naruto was currently in an Anbu uniform without an Anbu mask. Naruto was wearing a mask like Kakashi's mask. Naruto had a scroll on his left hip and one on his right. It was about 10 in the morning. Naruto and Kakashi were returning from a mission. I still can't believe that Sandaime-sama is letting you go on mission with Enbu, Kakashi said, smiling. Well, Anko was very persuasive, Naruto said, smiling, remembering the incident. Flashback. Oji-san, please, I am getting so bored back at Enbu HQ. Can't I go on missions with everybody there? Naruto had been begging with the Hokage about this for 2 weeks now. Absolutely not, Naruto, you aren't old enough to handle missions. The Sandaime was talking to the 7-year-old boy. But I have been trained by 6 Anbu, and made a guy for a year and a half. Naruto said, begging. Absolutely not, Naruto. The Sandaime said, getting back to his paperwork. Please, Oji-san, Naruto begged. No, means no, Naruto. The Hokage said. Now go back home. I am very busy right now. Feel free to visit some other time and don't bother asking me this question again. Naruto looked very dejected leaving the office. As soon as Naruto got outside the door, Anko in her normal non-Anbu attire looked at Naruto. So what did the old man say? Anko asked. He said no, again, I have been trying for so long now, Naruto said. Wait here, let me ask him, Anko said. End flashback. Naruto and Kakashi managed to get to the bar on the 3rd floor while Naruto was thinking. Naruto was still not sure how Anko managed to convince the Hokage, but Naruto thought it had something to do with Anko abusing the fact the Hokage was a pervert. There were a couple of stipulations. Naruto was required to go with Kakashi or Rin on any mission he went on, including C-rank missions, even if Naruto was perfectly able to take care of it. Naruto was also only allowed to go on 5 C-rank and 3 B-rank missions in a month. Of course Naruto and all the other Anbu agreed. Rin agreeing very begrudgingly. Rin had taken the overprotective mother persona very well and very quickly. She limited Naruto's training to the very least dangerous she could make it, allowing Naruto only to use up to 20 kg bunshin for any kind of training, making Naruto eat healthily rather than just ramen like Naruto wanted, and many other things. But Rin didn't know what Naruto was doing when she wasn't with him. When Rin went on missions, Naruto would train with 100 plus kg bunshin on all sorts of things, splitting them up on working on ninjutsu that Kakashi has been teaching him, creating, detecting, and dispelling genjutsu, working on chakra control, which was a constant problem for Naruto, practicing kenjutsu, and last but certainly not least, making music. Naruto was wearing weights given to him by Guy, and he put gravity seals on them, making them heavier whenever he added chakra to them. Naruto had mastered drums with the use of kage bunshin. Making lyrics was a hobby that he did in his spare time. Ever since he learned kage bunshin no jutsu, it is rare when Naruto doesn't have at least 10 of them working on something. "You are getting too good with that musical genjutsu of yours," Kakashi said. "Seriously, I am scared of it." "Kakashi ni-san, you really shouldn't worry, I would never use any of my techniques against a comrade seriously," Naruto said, smiling, drinking some kind of fruit juice. "Well, it looks like that is your last mission for the month," Rin said, tallying something on a board. "What, really already?" Naruto said. "Wow, the month went by fast." "Not really, it is the 16th. You still have 2 weeks before you can go on another mission," Rin said. "Well, that will give me time to play some music and maybe finish my latest instrument," Naruto said. "What is it this time?" Kakashi asked. "You have 5 guitars, 1 for each main element, 2 drumsticks, 1 set for earth, 1 set for wind, and 1 bell for laughs." "Oh no, this one isn't a weapon. This one is because I need a new guitar. My original one is so worn down that I think it is time I put that one away," Naruto said. "Oh my god, Naruto, you will never guess what happened," Kenichi said, barging into the bar. "Let me guess, you have finally told Anko how you feel and you are getting married," Naruto said. Everybody except for Kenichi snickered. "No, I don't like Anko like that. Even if she is gorgeous, she is a little too crazy for my tastes." "Why would I tell you that anyway?" Kenichi yelled. "Well then, what is it?" Naruto asked. "I entered you in a music contest a year ago," Kenichi said. "Wait, what, you entered me into a music contest, but I never played in an appearance?" Naruto was genuinely confused now. "Well, it was a mail your own song to them and they check it out kind of contest," Kenichi said with a grin on his face. "Well, what is the great news?" Naruto asked. "They will sponsor you to become an official rock band if you win, and will send out and live rock concerts and stuff," Kenichi said. Kenichi, just get to the point. Kakashi was getting rather annoyed at how roundabout Kenichi was being. "Okay, Kakashi. Naruto, you won the contest. You're the best out of, I think it said 215 applicants," Kenichi said. "Wow, that is great. What happens now?" Naruto asked. "Well, they are going to be coming to Konoha and work out the details of what happens now," Kenichi said. "I think Nana should go with you. She is the best at all the legal issue stuff." "Yeah, but I don't want to go to all the concerts and stuff, though I am a ninja through and through," Naruto said. "Well, that is your choice, you can tell them that, I think," Kenichi said. At this time Nana and Anko walked into the bar. "Nana, just the girl I wanted to see," Kenichi said. "What is this, Kenichi, and if you want me to help you spy on Kurenai again, I refuse," Nana said as Kenichi blushed. "What, do you have a crush on Kurenai?" Anko yelled. "Yes, black male material, this is perfect." "No, Nana, Naruto has a music deal and I was wondering if you could go with him to work out the legal matters," Kenichi said, clearing up his blush. "Fine, what day?" Nana asked. "This afternoon," Kenichi said. "At Ichiraku's." "Really awesome," Naruto said, very energetic now. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. "What do you think he is going to be like?" A bald man in a suit asked his companion, another bald man in a suit. "I don't really know. He is probably going to be a teenager with an attitude," the other man said. "Excuse me, are you from Over Again Records?" Naruto asked, walking into the ramen stand. "Yes, we are." Both bald men were wondering what this kid that couldn't be older than 10 wanted with them. Naruto, you haven't been back here for so long, Tenchi said. Ayame, our favorite customer, is back. You are Naruto. Both men yelled. Yeah, you're surprised aren't you? Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. He was in his casual cloths of jeans and a red t-shirt. Well, this is different than what we had planned, but I think the higher-ups will be okay with it, one of the bald men said. I am here as Naruto's legal consultant, Nana said, walking into the ramen stand. Nana Chan, you're late. I don't feel like putting in all the legal documentation stuff. Naruto and Nana walked out of the ramen stand with smiles for two different reasons. Naruto was happy because he was allowed to gorge himself on ramen on the bald guy's bill. Nana was happy because she managed to make it so Naruto's contract was only for his music and they would distribute, market, and pay for production while Naruto got 35 of the profits. Plus the fact she made it so Naruto would never be required to make a live appearance, but he could if he wanted to. The only thing Naruto had to do was mail a CD with 5 unique songs every month, and Naruto made CDs like that every 2 weeks, so that wouldn't be a problem. Naruto gave them 3 CDs so they could start on whatever they wanted to do. I have a feeling things are going to get interesting for you, Naruto, or should I say guitarist for the one man? Nana said, looking at Naruto. An Anbu in a tiger mask appeared in front of Nana and Naruto. Naruto-san, the Hokage wishes to speak with you, Toru said. Sure, Yam. Toru, I will be right there, Naruto said. Nana-san, I will see you later. Okay, I have to see what Oji-san wants, Naruto said. Running through the city to get to the Hokage tower. Hello, I am here to see Oji-san, Naruto said to the new secretary. Of course, Naruto-san. This secretary moved to Konoha about 5 years ago, so she had no idea about Naruto's situation with the Kyuubi. Of course, Naruto still didn't know about that. Hi Oji-san, Naruto said, walking into the door. Oh, Naruto, congratulations on the last mission, the Hokage said, looking at a folder. You wanted to see me about something, Naruto asked the old man. Yes, it is about your situation and about something else. The Sandaime was looking concerned. Why are you looking so nervous, Oji-san? Please just spit it out, Naruto said. Okay, but you asked for it, Sarutobi said. I want you to leave Anbu HQ and go to Ninja Academy. What, why, Oji-san? Naruto was confused, not mad but confused. He has been expecting to have to go to Ninja Academy since his 8th birthday. Naruto, you have had no interaction with people your own age. You have only had talk to Anbu consistently and me. It isn't healthy, and for you to actually get the rank of a proper Anbu you need to go through the other ranks. Right now you are Anbu in everything but name, the Sandaime. Okay, but why do I have to leave HQ? Naruto asked. Naruto, I want you to have exposure. You can't have that if you are sheltered in Anbu HQ all the time, Sarutobi said. Okay, no problem. I will get an apartment with some of my mission money, Naruto said. That won't be necessary, Naruto, the Sandaime said. Why? Naruto asked, confused. Because I am going to adopt you if you are okay with it, Rin said, walking in her casual cloths. You think of it. Really, Rin-chan, Naruto said enthusiastically. Yeah, I have a small house already so I can move your stuff there after we get the paperwork done, Rin said. There is one more thing I have to tell you, Naruto, Sarutobi said, looking very uncomfortable. 9 years ago on the day of your birth. Information about Kyuubi. Naruto, in spite of what you just heard, you have to know that everybody here loves you, the Sandaime said, looking at Naruto. Well, that is just great, so the only people that love me are you, and Rin-chan. Naruto said, looking down at his feet. Naruto, what are you thinking? You should know how Anbu work by now. 4 figures in the same uniform but in different masks. At this, Naruto began to tear up. Sandaime-sama, if you would allow me to gather my thoughts, Naruto said, standing up, rushing out of the room. Give him time, Sarutobi said. Anyway, you all wanted to talk to me about most of your retirements as Anbu. 2 weeks later. Naruto, get up, you are supposed to go to Ninja Academy today. Kin yelled from the kitchen in her house to try and get Naruto up. Okay, Ka-san, Naruto said. It was a condition of Rin's that if Naruto lived with her he would call her Ka-san. Naruto was in his bedroom getting ready for his first day at Ninja Academy. Most of the kids were there last year, so Naruto would be the new kid. Naruto's room was the second largest in the house. There was a rack for his first guitar and for every other guitar he had. His drum set was in a corner. A mic for him to record his music. All this plus his bed meant that Naruto really didn't have more than a 2 by 2 foot area of anything else. So all of his clothes were kept in a scroll that was tacked to the wall. I am coming, Ka-san. Naruto grabbed his flame guitar and strapped it to his back. After that, Naruto rushed to the kitchen to see a few things he didn't expect. Well, 4 things he didn't expect. Kakashi, Anko, Nana, and Yamato were all standing in the kitchen waiting for Naruto. Everybody was in street cloths except for Yamato. Flashback 1 week earlier. What, all of you guys are quitting Anbu? Naruto yelled as he found out 5 out of the 6 people he knew well were leaving Anbu. Naruto, most of us were planning to leave for a year or 2 now, Kakashi said. This job is too stressful to be a full-time occupation. Most people stay in Anbu up to 5 years and then they leave, take a break and possibly go back if they want to. The only reason we all stayed for so long was because you weren't going to leave even if we did, and since we all care about you we decided to stay. Plus your music rocks, Anko said, grinning at her little brother figure. End flashback. What are all of you guys doing here? Naruto asked, confused. We are here to wish you luck on your first day at the academy, Kakashi said, patting Naruto on the back. Yes, I am sorry that I have to make this abrupt, but I have to go back to the Hokage, Yamato said, putting his tiger mask back on. Okay, bye Yamato, Naruto said happily as his friend left. Oh, shoot, I have to go to the academy now or I am going to be late, Naruto said, looking at the clock. Naruto, you have 15 minutes, you can probably get there in 2 if you really pushed yourself. Nana said, looking at the clock too. Well, yeah, if I wanted to let everybody know how fast I am in Konoha, but I don't want that they can't know that I have been trained by all of you, and worked with Anbu, Naruto said, running out the door at an average genin pace. Well, I have to get back to the interrogation department, Anko said, running out the door after Naruto. Yeah, I am going back to my place for a nap before I have a mission as a Chunin, Kenichi and Kakashi said together. Yes, I have to get back to the Hyuga compound, goodbye Rin, Nana said. I should get to the hospital or I am going to be late, Rin said to herself. Ninja Academy Room 105. Okay class, settle down, we have a new student joining us today, a tan man with a scar on his nose in a Chunin outfit said to the crowd of academy students. So please give him a warm welcome. At this moment there was a knock on the door. Please come in, the Chunin said, looking at the door expectantly. Hello, Naruto said, walking into the classroom. Naruto was dressed in black shorts and a blue t-shirt, standard enough. A kunai pouch strapped to his right leg, a scroll strapped to his left. Naruto was wearing a white baseball cap that said, "Just give me a reason," and of course Naruto's flame guitar that was strapped to his back. Are you Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked. Yes I am. Would you be Uzumaki Naruto? Naruto kept his last name. Iruka said, expecting the boy. Yes I am. Nice to meet you, Naruto said. I would like you to introduce yourself to the class, and just give a brief description of what you like and dislike, Iruka asked Naruto. Okay. Naruto turned to face the class, a smile on his face. I am Uzumaki Naruto, I like ramen, my friends, and music. I dislike people who treat people badly for no good reason. Dude, what is with the guitar? This is Ninja Academy. A shout from a rather wild-looking boy with a dog on his head yelled. Inazaki clan, loud, brash, young, probably not an only child, maybe the youngest, so he is trying to prove himself. Naruto thought quickly with all the training from his Anbu friends. I don't go anywhere without my guitar, probably the same with your dog. Okay, that is enough. Naruto, can you please sit next to Hyuga Hinata? Hinata, could you please raise your hand so Naruto can find his seat, Iruka asked. Hinata raised her hand, which wasn't entirely necessary because the seat right next to her was the only one that was free, so Naruto could have figured it out. Hyuga, without a caged bird seal, so that means main branch. She is old enough to be the heiress since the heiress is supposed to be my age. The way she is holding her hand up shows either embarrassment or confidence issues. Naruto thought as he walked to his new seat. Hello, I am Uzumaki Naruto, nice to meet you. Naruto whispered from his seat just loud enough for Hinata to hear him. I am Hyuga Hinata, nice to meet you Naruto-san. Hinata said so quietly Naruto was straining to hear it. Naruto took a notebook out of his scroll and started writing. Naruto, let's see what you know, Iruka said from the front of the class. What was the Shoden famous for? Mokuton, Naruto said without looking up from his notebook. And founding Konoha with his brother, if that was more what you were going for. Thank you Naruto, Iruka said, noting that Naruto hadn't looked up once since he got into his seat. 2 hours later. Okay, I think that is enough, everybody, lunchtime, Haruka said, and before he could blink everybody except for Naruto and the more reserved students, which was like 3 people, were out of room. Naruto got up, putting the notebook back in his scroll as he tapped another seal on the scroll and a small bento box came out prepared by Rin. Naruto walked outside to try and find a shady spot to eat his lunch. He found a pretty good spot underneath a tree. Naruto was kind of surprised that there was nobody sitting there, but Naruto didn't really care, so he sat down eating his bento in peace. I can't believe you got their CD already, Ino. A pink-haired girl was whining shrilly to a blonde girl in a purple outfit. Yeah, it is all about who you know, Sakura. The girl Ino was bragging about a CD she got recently or something like that. Yeah, that band rocks. I brought my stereo, so put it on, Sakura said. Naruto finished his bento and slung his guitar around so he could play it for however long they had left. Naruto ran through a mental list of all the songs that were interesting to play and came up with one. At exactly the same time he started playing, Ino hit the play button on the stereo. Sakura, turn it off, Haruka is coming, Ino said to her friend. It is off, Sakura said, looking confused. Then why do I still hear a guitar? Both of them were planing, not noticing the boy. I guess it is time to pack it up, Naruto said as he stopped playing. Naruto walked by the 2 girls as they were still arguing about faulty CDs and sound systems and the like. What nobody, not Naruto, Sakura, Ino, or even Haruka, noticed was a Hyuga Hinata hiding in the tree, her eyes wide. Naruto was groaning, trying to get up from his bed at 10 o'clock. What Naruto forgot was that he increased the weights on each limb by 30 pounds, so it was very difficult to move. It is the 15th, isn't it? Naruto mumbled to himself, looking at a calendar tacked to the wall, and of course it was. September 15th, Saturday. 3 weeks and 5 days until I am going to have to hide. Stupid villagers. Naruto was hearing his music played more and more on radios and coming out of people's houses and stuff. It was kind of weird, but Naruto was glad people seemed to like it. Naruto looked at a stack of CDs and picked the one at the bottom. Naruto put it in an envelope as he got dressed in some jeans and a red t-shirt. Naruto took a look at all of his guitars and decided that bright yellow with lightning design was going to be today's guitar. Naruto strapped it to his back. Naruto went equipped with his usual kunai pouch on his right leg and scroll on his left. Naruto walked to the kitchen to find a stack of pancakes and a bowl of fruit at the table with a note on it. Naruto, have a great day. I had to go to the hospital early, so I will spend the day tomorrow with you. Your loving Okawa-san, Arin. Naruto smiled as he got some milk from the refrigerator. Then going to his pancakes, which were warm enough Naruto didn't have to reheat them. The doorbell rang while Naruto was finishing his second pancake. Who would that be? Naruto said, putting his knife and fork down on the table. Naruto looked through the glass of the front door to see some of his classmates. Hi, what do you want? Naruto asked as he saw Hyuga Hinata, Inazaki Kiba, Aburame Shino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. Hi Naruto-san, we were wondering if you would like to have a picnic with us, Shino said. Well, this is unexpected, Naruto said, looking at his classmates. I told you he would be troublesome about it, Shikamaru said. Is that a yes or no, Uzumaki-san? Sure, I have nothing better to do, but I have to stop by the post office first. I will meet you guys there, Naruto said. Do you guys want me to bring anything? We don't have much, but I could scrounge something up, Naruto said, thinking. No problem, Choji's mom packed plenty of stuff, Kiba said, lifting 2 picnic baskets. Uzumaki-san, would you mind if I with you? Shino asked in a very serious tone. Sure Shino, I think that is that most I have ever heard you talk, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. So all of them went to the park except Shino and Naruto, who were on their way to the post office. Uzumaki-san, may I ask what you are sending? Shino asked again, saying more than Naruto ever heard him talk. Nothing much, it is just something that I have to send to somebody every month or so, Naruto said, not giving any details that would suggest what he was sending. Oh okay, Shino said, staying quiet, apparently thinking. There he is, the demon brat, let's get him while his mother isn't protecting him, a couple of drunk villagers said, seeing Naruto. Naruto heard this and froze. Naruto could easily dispatch the drunks unless they were drunken fist masters, and that was unlikely. But he would reveal himself to Shino. Naruto was thinking the pros and cons, but before he could fully think of a good answer to his dilemma, the drunks attack. Damn it, Shino, cover your ears, Naruto said, swinging his guitar to the front, not noticing if Shino was covering his ears or not. Ninpo. Ballad of Peace, this is a genjutsu. Wow, that took a lot more of the song than usual, but I guess their brains aren't responding as well as they would be if they weren't drunk, Naruto said, looking around to see if anybody else had fallen asleep. Luckily most of the people were too far away from the music to have too great an effect. There were a couple of people that looked dazed. Shino, I would be grateful if you didn't mention that I know how to use my guitar like that, Naruto said, not looking at Shino, preparing another jutsu just in case. Of course Uzumaki-san, I have my own secrets that I would prefer to keep to myself, so I will keep yours, Shino said. Okay. Well, since those drunks took up so much time, I think that I will show you another secret of mine, Naruto said, putting his guitar back on his back and crossed his fingers. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A perfect clone of Naruto appeared next to him and Naruto threw it the envelope. You know what to do. The clone nodded and rushed away to the post office. You can do Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shino said, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, a friend taught me, Naruto said, looking at Shino, still preparing to do the jutsu if he really needed to. Let's get to everybody else. Okay, Shino said, leading the way, Naruto following, leaving the two drunks asleep in the street. The park. Hi everybody, sorry we're late, Naruto said, smiling. At the group, they found a good place on a hill. It was perfect, enough sun to make it look nice, but enough shade to hide in when the sun gets too intense. Kiba, Akamaru and Choji were setting out the picnic blanket. You guys need help? Naruto asked, as cheerful as it was humanly possible. No, we got it. You might want to help Hinata, Sakura, and Ino set up the sound system, Choji said, waving in the direction of the girls who were having trouble moving a pretty large speaker. Did you guys get everybody from our class here for this picnic? Naruto asked, rolling his eyes at the extreme fangirls. It seemed that Sasuke wasn't here because they would be fighting over him if he was. No, just Sakura and Ino. Well, we invited Sasuke, but he was busy with something, Choji said, now munching on some potato chips. Do you girls need help? Naruto asked Shino, following, seeing that they needed the most help. Shino, Naruto, can you help by moving this speaker about 5 feet that way? Ino said, looking at the two speakers. Sure, Naruto said, while Shino just nodded. Both academy students lifted the 200-pound speaker to the exact spot Ino wanted. How did you get the speaker anyway? Naruto asked. I brought it from home, Sakura said. You have space at your home for this thing, Naruto said, pointing at the speaker. Yeah, so what about it, Naruto? Sakura said, hitting Naruto in the back of the head. Ow, you didn't need to do that, Naruto said. Yo, if you want grub you better get it now before Choji and I eat it all, Kiba yelled. All the food was laid out on the picnic blanket and everything looked really good. There was a pile of California rolls, enough onigiri, rice balls, for everybody, teriyaki chicken, sandwiches, a bowl of chips, and several containers of soda. There was also utensils and plates for everybody. What kind of music do you guys have? Choji asked. Just this one band, they are really popular right now, Hinata said. They are called The One Man. Naruto gagged on the onigiri he was biting into, getting a slap on the back from Kiba. 2 minutes later, where is Shikamaru? Naruto asked, looking around at the people eating. The lazy ass is laying on the grass there watching clouds. He says it is too troublesome to get food while everybody else is here, Ino said, looking at the lazy ninja with some disdain. Actually, I think he has the right idea, Naruto said, looking at Shikamaru. I think I will join him, Naruto said, getting up, finishing a sandwich, walked over to Shikamaru. Mind if I join you? Naruto asked, looking at Shikamaru. Whatever, it is too troublesome to argue, Shikamaru said, still watching the clouds. Watching clouds is relaxing, isn't it? Naruto said, about 3 feet away from Shikamaru. Yeah, they have it so good, Shikamaru said. Yeah, they don't care what happens as long as there is water and some wind. Armageddon could happen and they wouldn't care, Naruto said. As long as they had water and wind. Nobody ever understood that, Shikamaru said, still watching the clouds move in their mysterious ways. Yeah, most people are too busy to really appreciate it, but what is also nice is falling asleep in the sun, Naruto said, closing his eyes slightly. Yeah, that is nice, Shikamaru said, looking at his blonde classmate. Naruto was already asleep in the minute he arrived. Shikamaru, get over here or all the food is going to be eaten. Choji yelled. Troublesome, Shikamaru got up, leaving Naruto to his nap. 20 minutes later, all of the gathered ninja students were having fun messing around, laughing, playing, all except for one. Naruto was still sleeping even with the blasting music that probably got the attention of everybody in a mile radius. Wow, how do you think he can sleep through this? Ino yelled to Sakura over the music. I don't know, but I don't really know why he would want to sleep through this music rocks. Sakura replied just as loud. Has anybody seen Akamaru? Kiba asked because he lost track of his dog. Nah, he is probably just hiding from the music, it is pretty loud. Choji said. Why don't we turn it down? It would be troublesome to go deaf before we are 20. Shikamaru said looking at his classmates. Everybody except Ino seemed to agree, and the music went to about 50% of what it originally was. Somebody should wake Naruto up, since he loves music so much he might learn something from this band, Sakura said. I will wake him up, Hinata said going over to Naruto. Naruto-kun, you really should wake up, we are all having so much fun. Hinata stopped as she saw Akamaru sleeping on Naruto's stomach. This was unusual because Akamaru only was really close to Kiba. This meant one of two things. Naruto smelled a lot like Kiba, which Hinata couldn't check, or Naruto just attracted Akamaru, which was unprecedented. Naruto, it must be nice to be guitarist, bass player, and drummer for the one man, Hinata said a little mischievously. At this, Naruto sat up so fast that Akamaru slid into Naruto's lap. Oh hey little guy, Naruto said looking at Akamaru on his lap. Hinata, what do you mean? Naruto, don't play dumb, Hinata said stuttering a little looking at Naruto. Naruto was so cheerful, Hinata had taken quite the attraction to him. I don't know what you are talking about, Naruto said trying desperately hard to keep his secret. Don't try and hide it from me, Naruto-kun, my aunt told me, Hinata said with her characteristic stutter. Your aunt? Naruto knew that he should know this, but he was drawing up a blank. I think she told me you knew her as Nana-ne-chan? Hinata said uncertain this time. Oh, Nana-ne-chan is your aunt, and wait, she told you, Naruto said looking slightly annoyed. Well, she told me because I asked her about you, Hinata said embarrassed. Is that all she said about me? Naruto asked. She said you were a very good person, a loyal friend, and very energetic personality. Hinata said. Well, it isn't as bad as I though, Naruto said sarcastically. She could have said that I am an evil person that uses his guitar strings to torture Anko-ne-chan. Do you really do that, Naruto? Hinata was scared but not completely disgusted for some reason. No, that was a joke, Naruto said. Do you really think that I would be like that? No, Hinata said helplessly, almost as if Naruto had hypnotized her. I better get going. My Ka-san doesn't know that I am out, Naruto said putting Akamaru gently on the grass beside him, making sure he didn't wake up the little puppy. Would you like to come over? I am sure Nana Oba-san would be happy, Hinata asked. Sure, anytime, Naruto said as he walked away. Where is Naruto going? Shikamaru asked. He said he had to go home because his mother doesn't know that he is here, Hinata said. Later that day, the Aburame compound. Shino, you were home earlier than expected. A man that looked very much like Shino, just 2 decades older. Hi, To-san, Shino said. Something is on your mind, Shiba said looking at his son. Yes, it is, but it isn't something crucial to our family in any way, Shino said. Son, it doesn't have to affect the clan in order for you to bring it up. What is wrong? Shiba asked. To-san, have you ever heard of a ninja art called Ninpo? Ballad of Peace? Shino asked. Yes, I have. It is an original technique from Konoha's rocker, Shiba said. What do you know about this Konoha's rocker? Shino asked. Not much, other than he is extremely young, and he has done many missions against enemy shinobi. Shiba said. That is very interesting, Shino said. Naruto, if you don't get moving now, you are going to be late, Rin yelled from the kitchen. And I want to see you graduating, so no more hiding what you can do. I am going to the hospital, don't be late. Rin was disappointed that Naruto was hiding so much of his skill. She understood why he was doing it, but it was still disappointing to see that he was just slightly above average in the academy. Hi, Ka-san, Naruto said walking up to Rin, giving her a hug. Naruto was wearing blue cargo pants, a mesh shirt, 2 scrolls, one on each hip, and his kunai and shuriken holder strapped to his right leg. Rin seemed to take note of the extra scroll. You are taking them to the academy? Rin asked as she opened the door so both of them could get out. Yeah, I am getting tired for carrying one guitar on me, If something happened where that guitar wouldn't be appropriate, then I would have to rely on ninjutsu or taijutsu, which I am not quite as strong. Plus different guitars are for different situations music-wise too. Naruto said. Well, good luck, Rin said, hugging Naruto again before heading for the hospital. Yeah, like I need luck to pass this easy exam, Naruto said with a frown on his face. The academy about 5 minutes later. Uzumaki Naruto. Iruka was going through the list looking for Naruto in his traditional seat next to Hinata. Naruto and Hinata seemed to have become very close friends, Naruto forcing Hinata to get more confidence while Hinata seemed to coax Naruto out of his shell and be more open with people, not just loud. Nobody except for Naruto noticed the blush Hinata seemed to get when she was with Naruto for long periods of time, obviously signifying either a crush or love. But alas, Naruto wasn't there and Naruto was extremely ignorant. Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka called out again. There was a small puff of smoke in Naruto's spot, brining with it one Uzumaki Naruto. Here sensei, Naruto said, a small smirk on his face. Naruto, you really shouldn't cut it so close. Anyway, Yamanaka Ino, Iruka said with a hear from Ino. Naruto, you scared me. I thought you might not show up for the test, Hinata whispered, blushing slightly more for the reason she was really worried that Naruto wasn't going to show up. I wouldn't miss this, Hinata-chan, Naruto said, leaning back, ignoring Iruka's lecture on what it meant to be a ninja and to take this test serious and the like. Naruto ignored this. The written test was so easy that Naruto could have passed with 100% every single time they had a test, but he usually got 12 wrong, just so he wouldn't bring attention to himself. And the written test that was in front of them right now was exactly as he expected, piss easy. This time he allowed himself only to get 6 wrong just to placate Rin about him showing his true skill and making sure he passed and became a genin. 1 hour later. That test wasn't all that bad, Kiba said, walking up to Naruto and Hinata. Kiba had become fast friends because their attitudes were very much the same, and Akamaru really liked Naruto. Yeah, it was an okay test, Naruto said, smiling at his friends. Shikamaru, did you even take the test? All Naruto got was a grunt and something about troublesome blondes. Well, that answers your question, Kiba said. How many more parts to the test do we still have? Naruto asked. We are going to go outside for target test, and a taijutsu test, Kiba said, ticking the tests on his fingers. Then the jutsu portion of the test. I think Iruka-sensei said it would be the Bunshin no Jutsu, Hinata said, and at that Naruto groaned. Damn, why does it have to be my one weakness? Naruto complained. Naruto had yet to create a satisfactory Bunshin no Jutsu in class. This was just so he wouldn't bring suspicion to what he could actually do. Naruto was still using Kage Bunshin to work on his chakra control, jutsu, music, and taijutsu technique. Naruto was branching off from Guy's Iron Fist style, learning a few things from Anko's Snake style, picking up a few things from the Hyuga Jukin, but rather than attacking Tenketsu points he went for the pressure points. Most of this was done away from Rin's eyes. Don't worry Naruto, you will get it this time for sure, Kiba said, looking at his friend. Kiba had no idea why Naruto had such a hard time with that easy jutsu. Okay class, if everybody could go outside so we can get the target and taijutsu test done, Iruka announced to the class. Well, I wonder what will happen if I ace every part of the test except for the Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto asked himself. Outside, the test had been going on for about 20 minutes, all the prospective genin were aiming at the targets. Most people were getting 14 out of the 20 projectiles they were supposed to launch at the target. All the clan ninja of course were getting higher, about 17 or 18. Uchiha Sasuke, Iruka said, looking down at the list. Sasuke walked up in his broody manner, looked at the target, taking 10 shuriken and threw them on after another, all of the hitting the bullseye. All of Sasuke's fan club were swooning over him as always. Then Sasuke threw his kunai and had them all hit dead center again. Good Sasuke, 20 out of 20, Mizuki said. Naruto didn't like Mizuki much. It wasn't like he wasn't any different from other teachers, it was just he seemed to have a lust for power that wasn't supposed to be in a school environment. Naruto was keeping an eye on him though. Next, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto walked up while Sasuke walked back. Good luck, guitar junkie, Sasuke growled. Well, I think I will at least do as well as you, Sasuke, Naruto said, just loud enough for Sasuke to hear him with a neutral expression on his face. Sasuke and Naruto were in a kind of rivalry. Even though Naruto appeared to be just above average, and Naruto made fun of the fact Sasuke ran away from his fangirls rather than just embarrassing them and enjoy their company. They're 12, they aren't even thinking about relations yet. Shut up, Sasuke mumbled. Okay Naruto, you know what to do, Iruka said. Naruto without even a second thought all 20 kunai and shuriken at the target. Each and every one of them hit the bullseye. Naruto, that was very impressive, Iruka said. 20 out of 20, Mizuki said looking surprised. He seemed to expect Naruto get less. Yeah, Naruto said not looking at his instructor. Naruto, that was great, Kiba said. Yeah, I am glad I got what I got, so if I fail the Bunshin test I might still pass, Naruto said smiling. 5 minutes later. Okay, now it is time for the taijutsu portion of exam, Iruka said sitting at a judge's table in front of the sparring circles. Mizuki, if you want to call out the matches. Okay, first Uchiha Sasuke, Mizuki said with gusto, bringing the last Uchiha to the stage. Okay, since the Uchiha is meant to be this year's Rookie of the Year, then whoever goes up against him is going to have a tough time. Since this is a taijutsu match, I would guess that they would match the best with the best, so that would be Kiba, Naruto thought really quickly. Versus Uzumaki Naruto. Mizuki called out, completely startling everybody including Naruto. Okay, 1 second Mizuki-sensei, Naruto said as he took off his scrolls. Hinata, can I leave these here? Of course Naruto-kun, Hinata said, stuttering only once. Naruto ran up to the sparring ring thinking really fast. Okay. I am being put up against Sasuke. If I didn't know better I would guess that somebody is trying to make me fail. Putting somebody that is in the middle of the class against the best, it wouldn't make the best exposure of either person's skill. I still have to pass this test, so what to do? I could use Iron Fist style, but my mastery of that style is farther than a genin, should be more on the lines of high Chunin low Junin. I could use the Academy style, but Sasuke would have the advantage because he is going to be using the Interceptor Fist of the Uchihas. So that leaves either Snake Fist or attacking the pressure points. The pressure points is too reminiscent of Hyuga's Jukin and people would get suspicious. So that leaves Snake Fist. I am about mid-Chunin with that, so it should be a good fit. Get ready, Mizuki said. Sasuke dropping into the Interceptor Fist stance, Naruto dropping into the Snake. Go! Naruto charged, still thinking. What I know about the Interceptor Fist is that it relays on using your opponent's body against them, waiting and counter-attacking. This style would be enhanced with the Sharingan, but as Sasuke doesn't have it yet, that takes an advantage he would have and shoves it out the window. Naruto threw a right hook at Sasuke's face which Sasuke blocked. And as he tried to counter-attack with a kick, he felt a wincing pain in his right side. Outside of the ring, the crowd was shocked. Everybody not in the fight could clearly see that Naruto's punch was a distraction as he did a strange jab maneuver into Sasuke's rib cage. Go! Sasuke beat the crap out of him, was the general yelling of the female population. Shut up, this is a test not a tournament, don't encourage either side. Iruka yelled, his giant scary head no jutsu firmly in place, quickly shutting them up. Inside the ring, Sasuke, you won't be able to counter-attack with me, so please become a little more aggressive, Naruto whispered in his ear. At this Sasuke growled as he sent a punch to Naruto's head. Naruto spun off watching as Sasuke ran in with his academy-style plane to everybody. Sasuke went into a combo of kicks and punches that were either blocked by Naruto or dodged. Stand still, Sasuke yelled at the top of his voice. Why have your rhythm? I could do this all day, Naruto thought. Naruto finally counter-attacked, jumping into the air trying to hit Sasuke with a roundhouse kick. That is too obvious, as Sasuke said that Naruto's other leg came spinning up into a spin kick directly to the temple, knocking Sasuke unconscious. Winner Uzumaki Naruto by KO, Iruka said, seeming and looking surprised. Naruto walked out of the ring as Mizuki woke Sasuke up with some smelling salts. That was great Naruto-kun, Hinata said, handing Naruto back his scrolls. Yeah, what was that fighting style? It wasn't the academy style, Kiba said looking at Naruto. No, it wasn't, it is something I have been practicing on my free time, Naruto said smiling. Next match, Inazaki Kiba vs Okatsunari, Iruka said. Good luck Kiba, Naruto said enthusiastically. 30 minutes later. Well, that is all done, Iruka said. Now all that is left is the jutsu portion of the exam. Damn it, Naruto said quietly. People were called up one by one into a separate room to perform the test. "Don't worry Naruto-kun, you are going to be fine," Hinata said looking at her dejected crush. "Yeah," Naruto said downtrodden. As Naruto was sulking, Hinata was called. "Hinata, do your best. I know you will pass this part of the test no problem." "Thanks Naruto-kun," Hinata said, as she rushed out of the room. "Naruto, don't worry, you will get it right this time," Kiba said looking at his usually energetic friend looking so down. "Yeah, I know," Naruto said, and at this point Kiba was called. "Kiba, you will pass no problem," Naruto said grinning. "Yeah, thanks Naruto, you will to no worries," Kiba said. "Yeah," Naruto said as Kiba walked in. Everybody that Naruto even cared about in the class had been called with the exception of Shikamaru, who was going to go up soon. 20 minutes later, Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka called from the other room. Naruto walked in his mask of the average student in place. "Naruto, don't worry, you will do fine," Iruka said looking at how nervous Naruto was. Naruto had a plan to pass this exam. "Yeah, thnaks sensei," Naruto said looking at Iruka and Mizuki looking at him. Naruto raised his hands in the ram hand seal, discreetly dropping a smoke bomb. The smoke bomb exploded, and in the smoke Naruto made the Kage Bunshin seal, creating 6 clones. Then Naruto had them all change their hand seals back to the ram seal. By the time the smoke clears, Naruto and his 6 clones were standing in front of both instructors looking as if judgment was about to be called. "Good Naruto, you pass," Iruka said making a note on a clipboard as Mizuki presented him with a hayate. Naruto grinned, getting his forehead protector. Mizuki had a smile on his face, but inside he was really annoyed. "Damn it, I thought that he would fail this part of the exam and I could get him to get the forbidden scroll for me. I guess I will just have to get it myself." "Yes, I am a genin now," Naruto said overenthusiastic and only for his sensei's benefit. Naruto wasn't really all that excited about being a genin. After all, he was doing missions with Anbu when he was 8. Naruto ran out to see all of his friends waiting for him. Choji eating his chips, Shikamaru looking like he was dragged here, Kiba and Akamaru looking at Naruto, Shino looking as he always did, and Hinata looking very pleased that Naruto passed. "You guys all passed, that is awesome, not that I had any doubt," Naruto said looking at his friends. "Naruto, you passed," Rin appeared out of nowhere hugging Naruto. "Ka-san, you are crushing me," Naruto said trying to push his mother figure off. "And who are your friends? You have never introduced me," Rin said looking at the assembled group. "Except to Hinata, that is." Naruto went through the introductions quickly. "Well, would any of you like to come with us to get something to eat?" Rin asked the group. "I am sorry Rin-san, but I have to get to my father. I believe that we have plans," Choji said, and this was the general attitude of Naruto's friends. Naruto wasn't surprised or hurt. They all had their own families to get to. "So Ka-san, where are we going?" Naruto asked Rin as they left the academy. "We are going to go to a special place and have a little celebration," Rin said smiling at Naruto. "Really, where? Ichiraku's?" Naruto asked excitedly. "I said special. How is Ichiraku's special?" Rin asked. "Well, it is special because it has the best ramen in the world," Naruto said. "Well, I will tell you when we get there," Rin said smiling. 5 minutes in front of Ichiraku's. "Well, here we are," Rin said smiling. "Yay, I knew it," Naruto said smiling and rushing in. "Congratulations Naruto, Kakashi, Anko, Nana, Kenichi, Yamato, Tenchi, and Ayame cheered. "Wow, everybody is here," Naruto said smiling. That followed was very excitable. Everybody was having a good time. All of the adults were drinking quite a lot and Naruto got a lot of laughs out of their drunken antics. The most memorable moment was when Anko grabbed Kakashi by the balls, making him wail like a little girl. Overall, it was a very good party. Naruto was gorging himself on so much ramen that by the time he was done everybody had left except for Tenchi, who was closing shop. "Naruto, you should head home, it is getting late," Tenchi said. "Yeah, thanks Tenchi for all the delicious ramen," Naruto said with a grin on his face. "I wish you would come around more often, it is always more fun with you around," Tenchi said. "I will come around whenever I am not in Rin's iron grip, okay," Naruto said laughing. Naruto walked outside seeing Mizuki sneaking quickly away, a giant scroll on his back along with 2 Fuma shuriken. Naruto, being Naruto, followed Mizuki into a forest where he seemed to be trying to lay low. Finally I got the forbidden scroll, Mizuki said. Now just to lay low here for an hour or so while everybody is searching frantically for me outside of the village. Mizuki-sensei, I don't think you should have that scroll, Naruto said walking out of the shadows. You demon brat, what the hell are you doing here? Mizuki yelled before he could control his voice. Apparently stopping you from stealing property of the Hokage, Naruto said looking at Mizuki knowing what Mizuki was going to try and do next. Do you want to know why most of the villagers hate you? Mizuki seemed to be trying to distract Naruto with information that he would be begging for. If he didn't already know it, that is. If you are talking about the Kyuubi Kitsune being sealed in my gut, I already know about that, Naruto said as he charged at Mizuki. Mizuki was overconfident. He was thinking an academy student that just made Genin today can't possibly be a threat to a seasoned Chunin like himself. Naruto was getting closer when Mizuki took his Fuma shuriken from his back attempting to slash Naruto in half. Naruto was impaled by the large shuriken and to Mizuki's eyes looked like the fight was over. What he didn't expect was for Naruto to explode sending Mizuki about 20 feet backwards. Mizuki-sensei, you should know better than underestimating your opponent. Who knows, maybe your opponent has been deceiving you since the day you met him. Naruto exactly where he started. How did you do that? Mizuki spat. Easy, Kawarimi with a log, Naruto said. Then I put an exploding note on it. You did Kawarimi without hand seals, Mizuki said. Like I said, maybe I have been misleading you since the day we met, Naruto said taking his scroll out, bringing his yellow guitar with lightning decal on it. What are you going to do, play me to sleep? Mizuki said scornful. You could say that. If by sleep you mean knocking you unconscious by overloading your brain, then yes, Naruto said charging the seal on the neck of his guitar with chakra. Ninpo. Ballad of the Blitz. Naruto was blasting Mizuki with a continuous lightning bolt being emitted from the tip of his guitar. The lightning bolt was following the intensity of the amp of his guitar. By the end of the song, Mizuki was collapsed on the ground twitching. Naruto was about to start up another song when a hand patted him on the shoulder. Naruto, that is enough, we need him alive, Toru said. I only put enough chakra into the guitar to stun him. If he died from that he was even weaker than I thought he was, Naruto said looking at Mizuki. You should hurry back home before Rin pitches a fit, Toru said. Oh crap, you're right, Naruto said. Anyway, how are you still conscious enough to go to work? You were so drunk an hour ago. I have my methods, Toru said grabbing Mizuki and vanished. Hokage's office. 1 week after graduation. So the teams for 1 to 6 have been decided, the Sandame said. So those instructors can leave. 6 Junin left the room. That only left Kakashi, a chainsmoker that had a strong resemblance to the Hokage, and a woman with long black hair and red eyes. Where is the instructor for Team 9? Kakashi asked. Team 9 is still in circulation, so there will be no Team 9, Sarutobi said. First, the council has ordered Kakashi to teach Sasuke Uchiha, and I have to say it makes sense. Hi, Hokage-sama, Kakashi said taking the order. The clans want the Ino Shikcho formation to stay in the new generation, so that will take care of the team. Who wants it? The Sandame said looking at a list of demands. I will take them, Dad, the smoker said. Okay, so Asuma has Akamichi Choji, Narashikamaru, and Yamanaka Ino, the Hokage made a note. Now it is your teams that have to decide. The Sandame looked at the 2 remaining unpaired instructors. Rin and Naruto's house. Naruto, it is 9:30, you have to get out, Rin called from the front door. I know how absorbed you get with your music, but if you don't leave now, you are going to be late unless you want to go there the fast way. No, Kasen, I am going, Naruto said running out of the door. Naruto was wearing blue cargo pants, a mesh shirt, 2 scrolls, 1 on each hip, and his kunai and shuriken holder strapped to his right leg. This was quickly becoming a uniform, the young rocker. I will be at the hospital, so if you need anything, Rin called after Naruto, who waved back. Ninja Academy. Naruto rushed into the room seeing it about halfway full. Naruto, this is a surprise. You usually just show up when Iruka-sensei gets here, Kiba yelled. Akamaru yipped, leaping from Kiba's hood, landing on Naruto's head. Hey Kiba, hey Akamaru, Naruto said patting the dog on his head. Yeah, I am here earlier than usual, but I was excited. Naruto-kun, it is really good to see you, Hinata said, a blush on her face, that you could easily see even though she was in the very back row. It is good to see you too, Hinata-chan, Naruto said as he rushed to the seat next to Hinata's. Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji aren't here yet? Naruto looked around for his other friends but they were nowhere to be found. They are running a little bit later than usual, Hinata said. They will be here, Kiba said sitting down. And as if on cue Choji and Shikamaru entered. Hey you guys are late, Naruto beat you here. Troublesome, blame Ino, our dads had us pick her up, and then about 2 minutes after that she and Sakura got into a race to see who could get here first, Shikamaru said. Then where are they? Naruto asked. They went the long way, Choji said eating some chips. And they went the long way, for a race because? Naruto was extremely confused. We don't think that they thought there was a shorter way, Choji said. Well that is very like them, Kiba said laughing. Well where is Shino? Naruto asked. Hello Naruto-san, Shino said walking through the door. Good there you are, I was concerned that you weren't going to show up. Naruto said. Of course I would show up today, Shino said raising an eyebrow. I got here first forehead girl, Ino yelled as Sakura and Ino got stuck in the door. Not a chance Ino pig, Sakura yelled trying to force her way through the door. Should we help them? Naruto asked the group of genin. No, let them struggle, Kiba laughed. 6 minutes later. Everybody get to your seats. Iruka yelled big head genjutsu in place. As most people were in their seats it didn't make much difference and was probably not required. So, I must congratulate all of you for making genin. I am very proud at how much all of you had grown in the past 3 years. But don't get smug, you are genin the very lowest on the shinobi ladder, you will have to work hard and constantly improve it you want to fulfill your dreams. Iruka finished his lecture and he started calling out the teams. Naruto was listening closely for all of his friends' names but none of them came up in the first 6 teams. I guess those are the 6 teams that are going to fail their actual genin test, Naruto thought. Team 7, Aburame Shino, Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke, led by Hitaki Kakashi, Iruka said. Ouch, that sucks for Shino, the fangirl, the brood, and Kakashi Ni-san who is always late and recently reading that book all the time. Well with that I can figure out the rest of the teams, they won't break up the Ino-Shika-Cho formation so they are definitely on a team together. Tough break for Shikamaru and Choji. That leaves Kiba, Hinata, and me, Naruto thought. Team 8, Hyuga Hinata, Inazaki Kiba, and Uzumaki Naruto, led by Yuhi Kurenai, Iruka read. Yes, Kiba yelled as Akamaru barked. This is great, Hinata said, while thinking, yes I am on Naruto's team, this is a dream come true. This is totally awesome, Naruto yelled truly enthusiastic because he was on a team with his friends. Team 10, Akamichi Choji, Nara Shikamaru, and Yamanaka Ino, led by Sarutobi Asuma, Iruka said putting the list down. You have 2 hours for lunch and then after that your senseis will pick you up, Iruka said, class dismissed. Sweet guys, we are on a team together, we are going to be the best, Naruto said shoving his fist in the air. Yeah we are going to be great, Kiba agreed with Naruto. Yes we will, Hinata said just as excited just in a quieter voice. Let's make a promise, that no matter what happens we will always be a team, Naruto said sticking his hand out in front of him. Yeah, that is how it should be, Kiba said the true believer in the pack. Kiba put his hand on Naruto's. Of course, Hinata followed the gesture. Teammates now and forever, Naruto yelled lifting his hand up making both Kiba and Hinata do the same thing just with the force. So what do you want to do for lunch? Kiba asked. Well why don't we start by eating, Naruto asked. In another room in the academy. Kakashi, you know Naruto right, what is he like? Kurenai asked Kakashi. He is a really nice kid, a hard worker when he sees the point in the goal. A music prodigy, he is rarely not playing in his free time. Kakashi said his face in a little orange book. Okay Kakashi, if you don't take your face out of the book and tell me something that wasn't in his profile I swear I will take that and any other books of yours and burn them. Kurenai threatened. Okay, Kakashi said putting his book away. If you want to know more about Naruto then look at his profile and dispel the genjutsu, but do that after you administer your test. Okay, Kurenai said thinking, why the hell would he have a genjutsu on his profile? 2 hours later. Team 8 was the last team back from lunch, but they made it exactly at the 2-hour mark. So the room was full of all the other genin. That was a pretty good lunch, Naruto said. Naruto, you finished your lunch in like 2 minutes, then you started playing your guitar, Kiba said. But I must say it was nice to have music while we were eating. Yeah, it was pretty nice, Hinata said. After they had finished their lunches, all they did was listen to Naruto play on his guitar. Well, music is really awesome, Naruto said, smiling as he sat down in his usual spot. Now all we have to do is wait for all the instructors. Did you hear, the one man are having a live concert right here in Konoha, Ino said very loudly. I already got tickets. At this, Naruto seemed to blur and appear right next to Ino. What do you mean, the one man? Naruto asked with textbook curiosity while secretly in his head there was a thunder and lightning storm going through it. Yeah, their concert is in a week, Ino said. They are already sold out. I was lucky enough to get tickets. Damn, too bad, I wanted to see them, Naruto said. And wring the necks out of the producers. It says in my contract no live appearances without my say-so. Yeah, I got tickets too, Sakura yelled. How many do you have? Ino asked. I got one for me, one for Sasuke-kun, and one for Shino. Well, I didn't know that it would be Shino, but I got one for our third teammate, and our sensei, Sakura blabbed. I got 4 tickets, so that is pretty much like what you planned, Ino said. Man, I wish I knew about it. I totally would have bought tickets for all of us, Kiba said. I wouldn't have been able to go anyway, Naruto said, thinking up something. It is one of my friends' birthdays and they don't like the band. So. What do you mean don't like, the one man? Everybody loves them. Kiba said skeptically. Team 8, please come with me, Kurenai called to Team 8. Yes, saved by Sensei, Naruto thought as he rushed to follow her. Kiba and Hinata got up and followed Naruto's lead. We are going to Training Ground 8, so it will be a short walk, Kurenai said. Training Ground 8, 10 minutes away. Okay, first things first, introductions, your name, likes, dislikes, and your dream if you are willing share it, Kurenai said, looking at the 3 genin. I will start. My name is Yuhi Kurenai. I like genjutsu and karaoke. I dislike perverts and people who think women can't be a challenging opponent. My dream is to make Konoha's genjutsu a powerful force and to help all of you achieve your dreams. Okay, you next, Kiba. My name is Inazaki Kiba. I like my dog Akamaru and my friends and family. I dislike people that treat dogs badly. My dream is to become a strong member of the Inazaki clan and become great. Next, Hinata. Kurenai pointed Hinata out. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like my family, learning my family's style of taijutsu, my friends, and Hinata looked at Naruto briefly, but Naruto wasn't paying attention, tuning a guitar it seemed. My dislikes are people that believe people are born beneath them, and my dream is to take over my clan, abolish some horrible practices and Hinata finished by looking at Naruto again, blushing and looking down at her feet. Now Naruto, Kurenai said. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, my Kasan, my friends, and music. I dislike the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to cook, musical writer's block and people that treat people badly for some image they have put on a person, and my dream is to be one of the best Hokages ever. Kurenai was thinking, Kiba is the typical Inazaki, very loyal to the pack, and since he can't be the clan head he is prepared to help out in any way possible. Hinata is shy, but not nearly as shy as she was when I helped her out in early years, and she has a crush on Naruto, but that doesn't seem like it will hinder her at all. If anything, it is a motivational tool. Naruto though, Naruto was an orphan, so somebody adopted him, and the profile was right about him being a music obsessive. He has a pretty lofty goal though, wonder if he has the will to attain it. That is all very interesting, and I am glad to have you as my pupils. Now normally there I would test your skills and your teamwork with a test, and if you didn't pass I would send you back to the academy, but that is something I feel like I should be teaching you, not expect you to already have it, so I will just do a preliminary on your skill at tracking. We will play a game of hide and seek. You 3 will have to find me. You have 1 hour before I will reveal myself, starting now, Kurenai said as her image seemed to spiral into nothingness. We better get started. Hinata, activate your Byakugan to search her out. Kiba started taking the role of leader in this group when Naruto put his hand out in the stop signal. You 2 should cover your ears. If she is in hearing distance, which is probably right, the Byakugan won't be needed, Naruto said, holding his guitar. Why should we cover our ears? Kiba asked. Naruto, what do you have planned? It is a genjutsu. Be ready to subdue Kurenai sensei because she will be mad after I do what I am doing. Now cover your ears, I don't want to have to fight your 2 too. Naruto said, taking out some ear plugs from a pocket. After Naruto was sure Kiba and Hinata had their ears covered, Naruto raised his voice. Ninpo, Ballad of Rage. Kurenai-sensei came out of nowhere charging at Naruto, kunai in hand. Hinata and Kiba quickly subdue her by holding her arms back, bringing her to the floor. Kurenai was struggling to get up and start attacking Naruto. Naruto walked up to her, his hands in the tiger seal, saying, "Kai, cancel." Kurenai eased up her eyes, regaining focus. "How did you do that, Naruto? For a genjutsu specialist, you don't know much about sound genjutsu," Naruto said to his teacher. "Well, this is very interesting, Kiba. Hinata, you can let go. We will meet up tomorrow on this training field at 10 o'clock for some training, and then in a week from today we will take our first mission," Kurenai said. 1 week later. During the last week was pretty much team-building exercises and learning signals for while they are actually out in the field. Today though, Kiba was over the top excited as this would be their first mission. Team 8 were in front of the Hokage waiting for their assignments. "Team 8, you have been requested by a client," the Sandaime said. "I can just guess who," Naruto thought to himself. "Why have we been requested? We haven't even had any experience before this and we are being requested by somebody," Kurenai asked. This was very unusual. She had been working with her team so much on teamwork that there was no way they could have gotten their name out in any way. She had been so busy helping them that she couldn't even look over Naruto's profile like Kakashi said to do. "I know this is unusual, but they are willing to pay a hefty sum for your team to do this mission. And you will be paid well above a normal D rank. You will be paid directly though, so the amount is up to the client," the Sandaime said. "What rank is it?" Naruto asked. "It doesn't matter, I could handle anything up to AB just myself, but I have a very bad feeling about this. It is a D-ranked mission," the Hokage said, making Kiba look a little bit unhappy. "What is the mission, Hokage-sama?" Hinata asked before anybody could interrupt. "You are going to help out at the concert for the one man," the Hokage said. "Free admission to the concert. Backstage passes as needed because you will be helping." "Really, Hokage-sama?" Kurenai said with a squeal. At this, everybody, especially Naruto, was looking at their sensei. "I am such a big fan of the band," Kurenai said, a blush on her cheeks as she tried to get her composure back. Naruto was mentally slamming his head against the wall. His sensei had to be one of his biggest fans. Somebody planned this. In Flaming Magnum's stats class. "It's you, damn it, I really hope I am not catching a cold," Flaming Magnum said aloud as he was berated by his professor for interrupting. Back in the Naruto verse. "You are to head to the concert hall immediately and you will get your instructions there," the Hokage said. "And if one of us refuses?" Naruto asked in a casual manner while everybody on his team was glaring at him, especially his sensei who had lighting coming out of her eyes. "They had paid extra to make sure I would not let you refuse," the Sandaime said, looking confused at Naruto. "That was a hypothetical question," Naruto said. "I will go on a little ahead of my team. I have something to discuss with somebody." "Just make it to your first mission in time, Naruto," the Sandaime said, mentally laughing because this wasn't Naruto's first mission. "Hi Oji-san," Naruto said, vanishing. "Shushin, interesting for a genin," Kurenai said, mentally berating herself for not looking at his file again. "We better get going. Hinata, Kiba." "Yes, sensei," Kiba and Hinata said at the same time. 10 minutes later at the concert hall. "I can't believe we are going to see them. I tried to get tickets to this concert but they were sold out by the time I found out about it." Kurenai was giddy. "Sensei, this is still a mission. If anything, we will probably be too busy to watch the concert," Kiba said, thinking realistically. At this, Kurenai bowed her head down as if in defeat. "We are here for the mission that was commissioned by the Hokage by your company," Hinata said. Kurenai had pounded every ounce of mission etiquette that they should all have. "That is fine, but he can't bring the dog," the guard said. "The dog will make a mess of things." "Hey, Akamaru is probably cleaner than you are," Kiba yelled. "That was a low blow. It says in my contract that I don't have to do live performances if I don't want to." An irate voice came from inside the concert hall. There was some mumbling after that and the voice came out again. "You are abusing what I am to get your ends met. Geez, you guys are underhanded snakes." There was some more mumbling and the voice came out again, seeming closer. There was some more mumbling and stuff. "Fine, as long as that is true then I don't mind so much, but you better not abuse this power you have over me." With that final statement, Naruto walked out of the door rubbing his temple. "Naruto, what was all that about?" Kiba asked, seeing Naruto walk out of the door. Naruto seemed to freeze. Damn, you guys are faster than I gave you credit for, Naruto mumbled. Well, I guess it was going to come out sooner or later, Naruto said, still rubbing his temples. Follow me. The dog stays outside, the guard said. No, he doesn't, he is coming in, Naruto said, looking at the guard with an intense eye. I guess. If it is okay with the higher-ups. But the dog better not make a mess, the guard said. Like I said, Akamaru is probably cleaner than you are, Kiba complained. Kiba, just shut and get in here, Naruto said, heading inside, followed by Hinata and a thoroughly confused Kurenai. Naruto, how can you order the guards like that, Kurenai said, looking confused. Like I said, I guess that I have to spill the beans now, Naruto said, closing his eyes. They follow what I have to say because I am guitarist, drummer, vocal, and bass for the band The One Man. This was followed by a stunned silence from Kurenai and Kiba while Hinata looked like it didn't concern her. You are the entire band, Kurenai said, looking stunned. Yeah, don't look down on the music because I am the one playing it, Naruto said, looking down at the ground. Naruto was surprised by an incredibly tight embrace and squeal from Kurenai. You are the greatest. Kurenai was strangling Naruto, swinging him around like he was a rag doll. Kurenai-sensei, we have to get on with the mission, Naruto said, trying to loosen her grip on him. Hinata was exhibiting a killing intent so strong that if the devil was there he would crap his pants, but nobody noticed other than Kiba, who instantly ran to the other side of the Naruto, Kurenai tornado. Kurenai finally let Naruto down. She turned to Kiba and Hinata. Did you two know about this? No, this is the first time I have heard about it, and Naruto, why didn't you spread the wealth? Kiba said, complaining. Yes, I knew because my aunt was there when Naruto signed his contract with Over Again Records, as his legal consultant. Hinata said. Yanana Ne-chan was a great help. She made it so I would never have to make a live appearance, but the company bypassed that by using the fact that I am a ninja against me, Naruto said. Speaking of being a ninja, what is the mission? Kiba asked. For you guys, nothing. You can just hang out and leave whenever you want, Naruto said. The only one that is required to actually be here is me. So what about the pay? Kurenai asked, even though for her being at the concert was enough. Here it is, Naruto said, hand each a bag of money. They are paying this much. Kiba looked at the bag of money. For you guys to pretty much just be here, Naruto said, smiling. It is coming out of my pay, but that isn't that much of a problem. How much of it is your pay? Hinata asked, preparing to give the money back. That is about 5% of what I get each month, Naruto said, seeing the stunned look on his teammates and teacher's face. Yeah. Well, I have to get practicing for tonight. You guys can watch if you want. The beginning of the concert. I still can't believe we get front row seats, Kiba said, looking around, seeing about 300 people sighting, talking loudly. Yeah, this is perfect, Kurenai said, leaning back on her seat. There was a smoke bomb on stage revealing a single figure. Naruto was wearing black jeans that looked pretty torn up on the right leg, a fishnet shirt accentuating some muscle Naruto had, a large red scarf that was trailing behind him, a mask covering his mouth, a megaphone at his lips, sunglasses covering his eyes. Hinata couldn't take the look, so she reverted to something she hadn't done in 2 years. She fainted only to be immediately woken up by Naruto's voice disguised by a small genjutsu to make it deeper. He had explained that he would dispel it when he actually started playing. Are you ready to rock? Naruto yelled, raising his guitar high. The guitar too had a genjutsu on it, so nobody would recognize it. It was actually his lighting guitar. With a cheer of the affirmative from the crowd, Naruto smiled that nobody could see because his mask was hiding it. Then let's get started, Naruto yelled, throwing another smoke bomb with an explosion large enough to encompass the entire stage. Naruto quietly used Kage Bunshin to take up the positions of drummer and bass. The drums were the ones given to him by the producers because Naruto didn't want to have to bring his from home, but the bass was his flame guitar under another genjutsu. Naruto began to play, small lines of lighting coming from his guitar. Naruto was using his Ninpo Ballad of the Blitz, but he was only putting a trickle of chakra in. The clone kept pace, letting the flames of his guitar build, using the same thing Naruto was doing. This was a show for all to see. Naruto went on playing on a list of songs the producers gave him, of his most popular songs. Naruto played like that almost all night, going on several hours longer than anybody expected, playing 6 encores. At the last one he dispelled his clones, unwrapped his scarf from around his neck and threw it to Hinata, who caught it with fumbling fingers. This was the start of a very annoying tradition to Naruto. I have reached checkpoint A, Naruto said, hitting behind a tree. What are you position? Dog Boy reached checkpoint C, Kiba said through his mic. Bright Eye reached checkpoint B, Hinata said. Any of you have the target in sight, or smell? Naruto asked through the mic. Negative, Kiba said, but it is not surprising, every time we see this thing it flees in the other direction. Bright Eye? Naruto asked. Naruto could hear some scuffling in the background of his headset. Target captured, Hinata said. Perfect, Dog Boy, you should probably not show up at the Hokage's office for 5 minutes, if you do the target will just run away again, Naruto said through his mic. Got it, rich boy, Kiba said. That isn't my code name, Naruto said looking disgruntled. Who said it was Richie? Kiba snorted. Hinata, do you need any help with the target? Naruto asked, trying to not be annoyed at Kiba and failing. No, Toru is perfectly calm right now, Hinata said, getting to Naruto's position. Damn Hinata, I really don't know how you do it, Naruto said looking at the Fire Daimyo's cat resting peacefully in Hinata's arms. Whenever I try to hold the damn thing I end up in the hospital due to blood loss. He is a real sweetie, Hinata said. Ever since the first concert of the One Man, Hinata had been wearing the scarf Naruto threw. Naruto really didn't seem to get it, but Hinata seemed to be proud of it. Naruto was going to be wearing one just like it for his next concert, which was scheduled in a month. Kurenai-sensei, we have the target, Naruto said. They reached a clearing that was the base for the mission. Good job, I think we have time to get another mission done today, Kurenai said looking at the two. Where is Kiba? If Kiba came along with us, we wouldn't be able to hold the target, Naruto said straight to the point. He will meet us at the Hokage's tower when we are done with this mission and the client receives her package. Okay. Naruto, by the way, do you have your newest CD? There are several songs that I really like, Kurenai went on a tangent. Kurenai had taken the information that Naruto was the band The One Man very well. She didn't treat him different in any way, except now whenever a new CD comes out she asks him for it rather than just buying it. Also she asked for songs he made that he hasn't sent to his producer. Yes I do, Naruto said, handing her a CD case he took from his storage seal. I knew you were going to ask for it. Kurenai was giddy for the music. The Hokage's tower. Here you go. Hinata handed the cat to the very large woman, who proceeded to strangle it. As the woman left, Kiba walked in, Akamaru on his head. Okay, Team 8, congratulations on completing that mission in record time of 15 minutes, that is very impressive. Now you have a choice of missions, you can either go to the supermarket for Soshin-san, or, the Hokage was interrupted by Kiba. No, Kiba said, crossing his arms. Kiba, the choice of missions isn't up to you, Kurenai berated. Oji-san, I think Kiba has a point. D-rank missions are fine for Genin to do since we are at the bottom. But we have been completing 4 to 5 D-rank missions a day. We finish it with this much speed because we are bored and our styles want combat, Naruto said, trying to convey that they were ready for a higher ranking mission. Do all of you think you are ready? The Hokage was looking at Hinata, who, while more reserved than her two teammates, had a look of determination on her face. Well then, that is kind of convenient. Team 7 has also requested a C-rank mission, so I don't see why you can't do your C-rank mission together. The Hokage said. That would be perfect, Hokage-sama, Hinata said, being far more respectful to the old man than her two teammates. The mission is to protect a bridge builder from wave while he finishes building his bridge. The Hokage said. The bridge builder and Kakashi are talking about the details, Kurenai, if you want to join them. Everyone else should prepare for a 2-week journey, starting tomorrow. Hi Hokage-sama, everybody said as they left through the door. Rin and Naruto's house. Ka-san, are you home? Naruto called out. Yes Naruto, I am home. Suffering from paperwork, but I am home, Rin said from the kitchen table that was stacked full of papers almost covering her. Isn't that the same stack of paperwork that you were starting when I got up yesterday? Naruto asked. Yeah, they just seem to multiply. I just can't make a dent in it, Rin said, filling out papers as fast as she could. I have to prepare for a long mission, 2 weeks they said, starting tomorrow, Naruto said. Do you have any suggestions on what to bring? Your usual ninja equipment, some soldier pills, sleeping bag, tent if it is going to be wet, however many ration bars you want to bring, bringing some canned foods, Can opener would probably be a good idea, canteen, and a couple of changes of clothes, Rin said, ticking them off on her fingers. So pretty much what I have on me, and some extra cloths, Naruto said, looking through his storage scrolls. One was strictly for his music instruments and music paraphernalia. The other had his survival equipment. Pretty much, Rin said, looking at Naruto. Don't show everybody up too much unless it is absolutely necessary. Of course, Ka-san, Naruto said. Do you want help with the paperwork? No, I need to finish this by myself, Rin said. You should get your clothes, and just relax for once, you are so uptight working far too hard. Music is my passion, Naruto said, turning to his mother figure as he went to his room. Maybe I will take a nap. The next morning. That was a good nap, Naruto said, stretching, looking at the clock. What, it is 8 already, I have to be there in an hour or Kurenai-sensei will flay me. Naruto got into his usual cloth, strapping all of his scrolls to his hip along with all of his ninja equipment. I know that I am missing something, but oh well, not enough time to dig for whatever it is. Ka-san, are you up? Naruto looked into Rin's room, which was empty, so Naruto assumed that she was out. Naruto walked to the kitchen to find Rin still working on the paperwork, which didn't seem to lessen at all. You are still doing that? Yes, it doesn't end, Rin groaned. Okay, I am heading out on the C rank, Naruto said, an exasperated tone in his voice. Don't get overconfident, there may be some surprises that you don't expect, and those could be fatal to you or your teammates, Rin said from experience. Yeah, I won't be overconfident, Naruto said, taking out a nutrient bar. Naruto truly didn't mind the taste even if the bar was a little bland. I am going. See you in 2 weeks. Bye, Naruto. Hopefully I will be done with this paperwork by then, Rin said, looking doubtful at the pieces of paper that were causing her so much grief. At the south gate, Sasuke and Sakura were there talking, it seemed, as Shino stood aloof. That was until Naruto showed up. Hi guys, long time no see, Naruto said, very cheerful. The mood instantly changed for the three of them. Sakura shut up for the first time since Naruto had known her, which was strange. Sasuke seemed to tense as if he was under attack. Shino's mood seemed to brighten, but there was no indication of it on his face, but the air around him seemed lighter. What do you want here, guitar junkie? Sasuke said. Well, Sasuke, the man of men, and only for men, Naruto said. My team and I have been assigned to help you on your mission. Yeah right, Naruto, just leave, Sakura yelled at the top of her lungs. The silence was nice, Naruto thought, clearing out his ears. Voice as dangerous as I remember. Naruto in the early days of Ninja Academy had a crush on Sakura for her exoticness and knowledge, but that all dwindled away as Naruto found out her personality as something like a bulldog, but instead of a bark it had feedback playing from speakers for a voice. It is true, Kiba said, walking with Akamaru keeping pace with him. Akamaru yipped, jumping into Naruto, who caught the puppy. We were assigned to this mission too, probably because it is all of our first C rank. Naruto was mentally laughing his ass off. If this was anything like the C rank missions he had been on with Rin or Kakashi, then this was going to be a cakewalk. Yeah, this should be fun. Don't get cocky, Kurenai said, looking at Naruto. You have never had any field experience, so you don't know what you are headed for. Naruto again was mentally laughing his ass off. Naruto, I know you will be fine, Hinata said right behind Kurenai. Hinata, is that the scarf from the guitarist for the one man? Sakura asked with extreme interest in her voice. Yes, it is, I caught it when he threw it off stage, Hinata said, blushing. Wow, you were in the front row, how did you get those tickets? I heard they were reserved. Sakura said. We were there, but we were so far back that all we could do was hear the music and see some of those special effects. Yeah, they were very good, Shino said, startling everybody because up until this point there was silence from the Aburame. They weren't that great, Sasuke said. Well, Sasuke, I would like to see you match them, Naruto said, grinning a little sadistically, something he copied from Anko for moments like this. Well, I am a ninja, they probably don't do anything but practice music, Sasuke tried to defend himself. Don't bet on it, everybody on Team 8 thought at exactly the same time. Well, everybody is here a little earlier than we planned, but it is best for us to get started, Kakashi said. Kakashi was followed by an old man in ragged cloths drinking sake. What, we have more kids now, the old man said. I thought this was a mission, not a field trip for little brats. What is with the blonde-haired shorty? I mean, that outfit looks more like a fashion show rather than a proper ninja. And the girl, she looks so shy that she will probably be the first to lose her life in any serious situation. Hinata blushed and looked down at the ground. Naruto had a tick on his forehead the size of Mount Everest. Before anybody noticed, Naruto took out 2 drumsticks that when Kakashi finally saw it he knew too well. Kakashi intercepted the boy before Naruto could start whatever he was planning to do. "Naruto, don't kill the client," Kakashi said, holding Naruto's arms. "Come on, just 3 beats and everybody's misery would be over with," Naruto said, struggling and gaining about 3 inches before he finally gave up. "Kakashi ni-san, you have been slacking on your training since then," Naruto said, just loud enough for Kakashi to hear. "Yeah, I haven't had much time," Kakashi whispered. "That is no excuse. If you don't step it up, Guy-sensei will catch up to you, and you will hear nothing other than how your flames of youth this and flames of youth that," Naruto replied in the same tone. "Tazuna-san, if I were you I wouldn't insult any of these genin, even though they are you. They could rip you to shreds before you knew they were there," Kakashi said. "Okay, let's get started," Kurenai said, pulling Naruto to the front. "It was nice of you to stand up for Hinata like that, but you are letting your emotions get in the way of your judgment." "Fine, Kurenai-sensei," Naruto said, releasing her grip on him with relative ease, and he walked back to his team. "Kakashi, why did you stop Naruto? If he tried to hit Tazuna with those drumsticks surely they wouldn't have done anything," Kurenai asked. "You haven't read Naruto's profile without the genjutsu. If you did you would have known how much trouble Tazuna was just in." Kakashi said, his eyes in the book he loves so much. "I brought a copy for you to look at later." Later that night, Team 7 and Team 8 had set up the campsite perfectly, a large smokeless fire in the middle of everything. Kurenai was sitting at the edge of the fire reading Naruto's file. Rank: Genin. Strengths: Ninjutsu, Taijutsu. Jutsu: his own music jutsu, else is unknown. Taijutsu style: Snake Fist, Iron Fist. Notes: overall a very qualified genin that puts his friend before his own convenience. Missions: 50D rank. This was all stuff Kurenai knew about Naruto because she had been the one that wrote most of it down. But at the edges of the paper she noticed a slight wavering not noticed by the average eye. "There is a genjutsu on this paper." Kurenai released it without a hand seal as not to bring attention to what she was looking at. What it looked like to the genin was details of the mission. What Kurenai read now was making her eyes bug out of her head. Rank: Genin. Strengths: Ninjutsu, Taijutsu, Kenjutsu, Genjutsu, Rudimentary Fujinjutsu. Jutsu: Ninpo, ballads. Multiple ninjutsu taught to him by Kakashi. Taijutsu style: Iron Fist taught by Guy, Snake Fist taught by Anko, Medic Combat taught by Rin. Notes: Naruto from the age of 5 was raised at the Anbu compound. He has come very close to 6 of the Anbu or former Anbu there. Hitaki Kakashi, Hyuga Nana, Kaso Kenichi, Rin, Mitarashi Anko, and Yamato. Naruto at the age of 7 was creating his own ninja art based on music, making not only genjutsu but figuring out a way to make ninjutsu with music. He is Anbu in everything but name and maturity. Code names: Muse Brat. Bingo book names: To Iwa and Kumo Konoha's Rocker. To Kiri Bloody Melody. Missions: 50D rank, 100C rank, 40B rank, 4A rank, 1 sulfur monosulfide rank. Kurenai closed the file looking stunned and watching Uzumaki Naruto in a different light. "Impressive, isn't it?" Kakashi said, sitting down next to Kurenai. "You call that impressive? I don't think I have done that many missions," Kurenai said, looking stunned. "Yes, he has the work ethic down to be a great shinobi, but he doesn't have the mentality. He kills but he doesn't understand. With experience he is going to be something," Kakashi said, watching his little brother. "Why didn't you tell me outright? I am his sensei, I should know that he lives with Anbu," Kurenai said. "He doesn't anymore. He lived with Rin since he started Ninja Academy. All the missions he has done was done in the 2.5 years he was allowed to do missions," Kakashi said. "Plus that is a B-rank secret within Konoha, so I couldn't tell you, Naruto kid, but there was obviously no need to bring attention to himself." They were interrupted by Naruto at about this point. "Damn it, I forgot my tent," Naruto yelled, looking through his ceiling scroll. "So all of this, has it been an act?" Kurenai asked, waving at Naruto, talking to everybody to see if they brought an extra. No, not at all. He is terribly forgetful when it comes to supplies, which is why he carries everything on him, Kakashi said. His attitude hasn't changed much since he left Anbu, except he is more open now. The Genin exams was an act. Naruto could have run circles around everybody if he even was thinking about it, and the Bunshin test was a complete fake. What do you mean by a fake? Kurenai asked. He hasn't shown you? That was the first thing I thought that would have gotten out since he uses it so much. Well, Kakashi said, rubbing his temples. He can't produce normal Bunshin. His chakra amount doesn't allow it, so he mastered Kage Bunshin and he uses them to train and gather information constantly. Rin put a limit of 20 at a time, but Naruto breaks that rule so quickly it really isn't healthy actually. How many can he make? Kurenai asked. He uses about 300 every day for training while he is with your team, Kakashi said. He can make 300 Kage Bunshin and still acts like he normally does. That is unreal amount of chakra, Kurenai said. Yeah, we think it has something to do with the Kyuubi being sealed within his gut, along with his parents' abnormal amount of chakra, Kakashi said. Kurenai-sensei, I will take up watch for tonight. I don't have a tent, so tomorrow night's watch will have their tent taken from them so I can get some sleep. Naruto said. That is fine, Naruto, unless Kakashi had something else planned. Kurenai said, instantly back into instructor mode. I have no problems with that, but Naruto, you will have to be alert tomorrow, so we will switch off at 3 in the morning, Kakashi said. You can use my tent. Thanks, Kakashi ni sensei. Naruto caught himself. Kakashi, what was he about to call you? Kurenai asked. He viewed every Anbu that he was raised with as family, so he calls most of us ni-san or ne-chan, Kakashi said. I will have to talk to Anko about that, Kurenai said, getting up, going to look at all arrangements for their camp. Beginning of Naruto's watch. Well, I have to be alert, so I guess I will go into music hibernation. Naruto said to himself, talking about that state where he falls asleep but keeps on playing music. Naruto is fully aware of his surrounding, but he lets his mind rest in this mode. Naruto, wake up. Kakashi was shaking his shoulder. Kakashi ni-san. Naruto said, getting out of his stupor, and the music stopped. Your shift is over, I will take over from here, Kakashi said. Okay, ni-san. Naruto seemed very groggy, as he got up and put his guitar away in his scroll. And unsealing his sleeping bag. Night. Kakashi watched as Naruto went into a tent. Kakashi was snickering very lightly, because the tent Naruto went into wasn't his, but Kakashi let it go because it was going to be hilarious when everybody woke up. The next morning, 7 in the morning. Kakashi-sensei, why are you snickering? Sakura asked. You'll find out when either Hinata or Naruto wake up, Kakashi said, still snickering. What did you do to my students, Kakashi? Kurenai said, looking at Kakashi. Nothing, it just seems Naruto was more tired than he thought, Kakashi said. What are you? Kurenai heard a very loud squeak of thud. A panicked Naruto, who seemed to appear out of nowhere next to Kakashi, beat red, his fist about to make contact on Kakashi's blind side. Kakashi seemed to be expecting this, dodging out of the way. Kakashi, why the hell didn't you stop me when I went into that tent? Naruto yelled. You know it takes me a full 5 minutes to fully notice where I am if we aren't being attacked. I didn't, because there was nothing really wrong with it, Kakashi said, giggling. Plus I think Hinata liked what she woke up to. Naruto continued his assault on Kakashi when he was grabbed and put in an arm lock from Kurenai. You're telling me you went into Hinata's tent, Kurenai said, killing intent in her voice. I didn't mean to, Kurenai-sensei, I was running on autopilot to the nearest tent, which I thought was Kakashi's, Naruto said, struggling to get to his feet, and to everybody's amazement except Kakashi, Naruto was succeeding. I was so out of it that I didn't even realize somebody else was in the tent, which is why I am trying to hurt Kakashi-sensei. Kurenai still looked disappointed in her charge's lack of judgment. Well, we can't hold off any longer. We were waiting for you and Hinata, so you will have to pack up Hinata's things and carry them and her until she wakes up. We will go ahead and you can catch up. Hi, Kurenai-sensei, Naruto said, shame-faced. I really didn't mean to, it just. I will get started now so we don't get too far behind. Naruto packed up everything of Hinata and put it in an extra storage scroll that he kept in his storage scroll in about 3 minutes. Naruto picked Hinata up piggyback style, and when he was sure that Hinata wouldn't fall off, he headed off, moving at a little faster than civilian speed. Tazuna was with them, so that was what the group ahead of them was limited to. Hinata nuzzled into Naruto's back, making Naruto go a little bit stiff, but Naruto kept his pace up. I could get used to the way I woke up today, Hinata was thinking, squeezing Naruto a little tighter, but she didn't realize it was Naruto, of course. Seeing his face in the morning so peaceful, I wonder what he was doing in my tent though. Oh, what does it matter, I don't care, I just wish all my mornings could be like that. Without the squealing and passing out, of course. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.